Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. You know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See on stage. On-chain revolution. Done this. Boom.
Welcome back to On-Chain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on the shadow of the entire crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the On-Chain Hour, and today's episode is going to be great because I don't know why. It's always great. Bitcoin getting slaughtered right now. Down, about $3,000. It feels like in the last, hour, millions of dollars liquidated. Gold's going to an all-time high right now. Just sucks to be in crypto. It really does. But there's so many good headlines. Like I was doing the research for the morning, like I do every day, and I'm just like, holy crap! Like JP Morgan is tokenizing bonds. Everything is happening that we want to happen. It's just not showing in the price action. And we are, on December 12th. We do have, 18 days left in this month. We have Christmas this month, Hanukkah right now, then Kwanzaa, right? New Year's, it all in the next, 18 to 20 days. And we're just not doing anything. And maybe I should be expecting this, but over the years, I've kind of got into this Santa Claus rally mindset where we, constantly always have this push up. We're not getting it this year. I'm going to come out there and say, Yagobi might have a different opinion on this than me, but we're not going to have any type of rally going into the end of the year. In my opinion, I think we're going to be very sideways. It's going to be very similar to what we experienced the last 24 hours. Bitcoin goes up to 92, gets smacked down to 90. Alts fly up, alts fly down. Everything's kind of being traded. I do think we see a bleed out of altcoins though, as people kind of get closer to Christmas and need to find that money. It's very easy right now to take down market caps of some of these altcoins because right now it's just the the long-term holders holding these things, and they're just going to be dumping. I have a feeling that we're not going to see any type of fun for the rest of this year. And it sucks to say that. It really sucks, but there's nothing we can do. We just have to be real with each other here and be honest and basically come out and tell the truth, right? We're not here to sugarcoat shit. We're here to tell you guys exactly what we think is going to happen. And you guys know, what's happening. You guys feel it just like we do. But like I said, I mean, today's show, the next huge meta is heating up. Me and Yagobi think we found the next really, really big meta for when things do get bullish. And that's kind of what this area should be used for, to find when the pump does come to Bitcoin and Ethereum, where we can make those 100x opportunities, right? We think we have, the area, on top of that. And then we're going to get into some stuff like, gold, new all-time high potentially coming up. I don't know. Something big happened 15 years ago. We're going to talk about that with Bitcoin. U.S. senators are pushing to finalize crypto market structure before Christmas. So there's still, people that are working around the clock right now trying to get this crypto market structure bill passed, right? The clarity bill passed. And, they are thinking it could still pass before they go on holiday. Things got to start pushing up, though. And then Congress calling up Paul Atkins, the SEC chairman, and telling him that they want 401k Bitcoin and 401ks by the end of this year. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I don't know. And then we got news from Interactive Brokers. They're kind of like an E-Trade type of company, and they're now taking stablecoin payments. Get into that and so much more. So without further ado, let's get this thing started. I'm bringing my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
This market sucks, bro. I feel defeated. I really do. Like I was just watching this price action right now, sitting at 89.7 after getting a little bit of momentum yesterday, back to 92. I feel like I got smacked in the face in the last hour and a half.
I'm used to it by now. I'm actually just all smiles because I'm not like delayed by 3 seconds. I got my new computer, and so everything's working smooth on my end. But yeah, I can see, why you're feeling defeated. We've been up and down with that feeling, right? The last 6 months of this year, it was really evident, right? And to start the year off, it wasn't really that great either. You had moments, but nothing really exciting this entire year. I mean, sure, a couple of tokens in Solana really ramped up. You had some fake outs from Maroons a little bit here and there, but people, the builders that planned according, well for a tough year are still building and stuff like that. So that's a positive thing to look at here. And I love Ryan Boylan's take here, Blazing Bandit, where he says, I'm gonna keep belief in the Santa rally. It's almost kind of like, like whenever you're like your kids, you can't tell them that Santa's not real. No, I was just kidding. I'm with you, man. I believe Santa's real, number one. I think he's gonna come and drop some gifts off at some point. Now, how good of gifts are they gonna be this year? I don't know if you might get a PlayStation 3 or a PlayStation 4, not that 5 even, but we'll see.
Yeah, you're getting the Switch 1, not getting Switch 2. But it's funny you say that because like we told our kids, my son's 11, my daughter's 9, that officially like Santa's not real. My son refuses to believe it. He says no, that you're a fucking liar. No,
because you're trying to you're trying to steal that boy's spirit, brother. Don't do it.
But yeah, it's kind of like it's exactly like that. So shout out to Ryan, man, telling us no. My buddy Stan is here. He says it's difficult to confirm utility projects. Any suggestions from channel to flesh out scammers and genuine use case projects?
Revenue
generating products. Yeah,
check revenue. Yeah, revenue.
Blazing Bandit says I'd be good with a PS1 at this point. Honestly, dude. Honestly.
Dude, I might just buy one from like a pod shop just for the heck of it.
They're actually more expensive than the 3 now because of this retro.
I was about to say 3. Okay, I get it. Yeah, it's like popping open a game from NES or something crazy, right? Like PlayStation 1, it was definitely like game changing, but when you go back, like the graphics are just like everybody's like straight lines.
Yeah, and it's rare. They're more rare, right? Because they haven't been produced in 20, 30 years, especially the P. I mean, I remember I got a PS1, probably what 98, right? Same. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's kind of get into our first topic here. The next huge meta is heating up. Could this be the path to the next big bull run? So this is something me and you've been kind of looking at, you more than me. So there's a new pairing system on Bonk called USD1, right? Bonk seems to be someone who's really working with the the Trump kids, Donald Trump Jr. and that whole organization at WillFi, who produces the USD1 token. And for the first time, we're seeing pools not in Solana, but actually in a stablecoin, and that stablecoin is USD1. Some of these pairs could really take off, right?
Yeah, it's what I'm most bullish on at this current point, right? And if you've been watching the show, we've been just like trying to dig through all the muck of the current sentiment of the market to try to find opportunities here and there. And honestly, like if you watched us during the Monad launch and Spark, there were short windows of opportunity for sure if you got in and out, right? But you had to get in and out. For example, like if you followed us and you got into NADS day one. If you got out at 2 million, then you did well, right? But how hard is that? That's very hard, especially new ecosystem trying to time that day one, right? Because it lasted a day and a half, I think, and then down only. And but like we're out here, just trying to like sift through all the garbage, and figure out where is there opportunity. So I would say the USD1 meta to me is something that's been cooking for a little bit, but you really haven't seen them really ratchet it up until recently. You know, the Bonk team. So there's two main accounts that I look towards in terms of leadership for Bonk. You have the UPC, which is Bonk guy, and then you have Soulport Tom. Yeah, so sorry, Uni PCS, right? So that's AKA Bonk guy, and then you have Soulport Tom. Those two, in my opinion, are the like top of the leadership there, and then you have some one-off accounts, and they've been really hinting towards USD1 for months now, right? Because there was some sort of agreement with the Wilfi team. I'm sure that Bonk was the official launchpad of USD1 on Solana, and you even had the America.fun Ogle guy that we had on our show say that they are the official USD1 Bonk.fun is. So they've been talking about, hey, this is we're gonna start heating things up, and me being paying attention to the trenches, throwing $50 here, throwing $50 there, just goes into a black hole, right? But you learn about what's happening, like what is going on. And I would say 2 weeks ago, it was really hard to get a Bonk.fun token to bond. There would be a couple that would. You had stuff like the shit piss can or whatever you want to call it, that did really well, and a couple others. But now you're starting to see the bond percentage kind of get more towards the 40-50% split between pump. And to me, I'm just kind of noticing that there's like this slow kind of dominance coming back, similar to the summer, except for now they have a USD1 campaign that they've been talking about pushing, right? And a lot of it is political. So I talked about this on the show yesterday. A lot of these tokens are relating to this current administration, something to do with the current government, America, that type of thing. And they're bonding left and right. Right. And they're not going straight to zero like they were 2-3 weeks ago. Some of these are having sustainability. Right. And so what does that tell me? That tells me that when they said they were going to, turn it up a notch, they're starting to do that right now. So I'm looking at some of these USD1 pairs that have really good narratives, that have a community starting to form around them. And I'm starting to look back, not day one necessarily. Well, day one, you pay attention to, how far did it get? And then what's the pullback? Because there's always a pullback. And then what happens after that, right? And so I'm making a list, checking it twice, and, seeing which ones, I just had to say that. I had to say that. Anyways, which ones that, I'm willing to DCA into slowly, right? And there's a couple on my list right now. I am bullish on the MAGA token that launched 2 days ago, because it's the first one on the USD1 pairing. MAGA's a movement, right? And so I think that one could go. There's another one called the American Dream. I think that has a really good narrative behind it as well. I mean, that chart doesn't look great, but I think you're on the 4 hour, right?
Yeah.
But that's the pullback, right? Because it was about 22 hours ago that it launched, right? And there's some things that I look for. I look for like how fast the community of holders grew, because if it's too fast, we know that's just really bulk is the bundle, and you do have to have some percentage of bundle to have supply control. So there's like a fine balance that you got to have, right? So to kind of wrap this up here, I do think that meta is going to be highly focused on in the Solana ecosystem. And I think you're going to see some strong runners coming out of USD1. But it's not only Solana, it's Binance as well, Binance Smart Chain. So USD1's getting a campaign push over there right now as well. So you're going to have the two leading meme chain ecosystems have this, USD1 campaign push kind of simultaneously, right? So as liquidity starts to flow back in, I expect some of these to really have some strength and run pretty hard. And what a great way to market USD1 with this.
What a good way to lock USD1 up forever, right? I mean, in some of these pools, because it's locked liquidity. So you're potentially going to see this stuff, they're going to be able to buy bonds. let's just say one day, Bonk gets up there, let's just say 40% of what Pump's doing. And, in that sense, I mean, you might see billions of dollars of USD1 locked in pools forever. And what that does is that allows a company like Wilfi to take those dollars that are backed and actually buy treasury bonds that actually give them more money. This is actually really genius when it comes to a stable coin, because now you're generating, 3-4% revenue on these bonds that are just, you keep forever at that point, because that's never going to come out. It's never coming out of the system. So the guys at USD1 or WillFi, they figured out a way to lock up forever USD1 and make money on it. So there is no one coming for those coins, because it's not owned. It's locked in liquidity pool. So I think that's genius. But but now they have to figure out a way to pump these meme coins so we can get more locked in there, right? So now it's going to be a job of Eric Trump, a job of Donald Trump Jr., job of the CEO of WillFi, to come out and potentially put together marketing and other stuff to kind of get these pools more liquid and add liquidity, which is USD1. I love this. This is really, really good thing. But how does that make us money?
Well, I think that makes us money by trying to figure out which one of these are going to have, because I think there's going to be multiple that have strength and sustainability because of the USD1 campaign. Not all of them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are going to go zero, kind of like how memes are, but I think you're going to have a good basket of, stuff that connects well with that. I mean, let's just be quite frank with it, almost kind of like the conservative mindset of like the current administration, the campaigns that they ran on and all those things, right? Is it limited to that? No. I think initially it will be very, very close to it. And then eventually, once it breaks out and kind of has its own, creates its own story, over time, I think, memes in general will just kind of be launched with it, right? But they're not just doing Solana; they're doing BSC, like I mentioned, and initially they were trying to get with the Sui Foundation. I know Sui was on board with it, and all these like ecosystems and chains are on board with this because they know what it means to have that, right? It's the current administration that's pro crypto friendly, and they want to be a part of that. They want to be kind of in that circle, right? So it made me think of the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? Because that's really hard to think about initially, because most of these chains are EVM or EVM compatible. So the scaling solutions, how could they onboard USD1? And there's definitely ways to do it. You have someone like Omnity that's building for ICP and Bitcoin layer 1 tech stack. So ICP is EVM compatible. There's already bridge from Ethereum to ICP, right? So they could definitely do it that way. Starknet can do it as well. And so I see, if this becomes like a big, like USD1 is just so huge, I see that there could be like, a cracked open door for USD1 coming over to the Bitcoin ecosystem as well. But we'll see, which ecosystems kind of want that and become aggressive towards it. Because I think it'd be smart to do, especially in the beginning, because everybody right now is really, has this poor sentiment, and rightfully so, towards the space and all these things. But if this is a big movement of USD1, they're really trying to push this through, then it could be, a part of the liquidity push that the space needs.
Yeah, there's only one issue with bringing stablecoins over. If you bring stablecoins over, you have to bring a large amount. You can't bring like $5,000. It's not going to work. You need to bring hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you're going to need someone, a whale,
Probably millions,
or someone with a lot of money. Well, to get a pool started, probably like $100,000, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Single
you know
pool.
what I mean? Like, so it's kind of like, to get any pool started, and after you get one pool started, then you can get more and more people to kind of do that, because they see an opportunity when it comes to trading and making money, right? So, but I just don't see anyone willing to take that risk of bridging, stable coins over to Bitcoin. I just don't see that happening. Because I really thought about it when we were talking about it earlier, and I was like, yeah, who's going to do that? Like, I can't, unless you're a big whale, or if you're the project founder or something like that. But again, $100,000.
It would definitely have to be a part of a marketing campaign,
100%
budget. So
yeah,
not any individual is going to do that. It's going to have to be, infrastructure partners and stuff like that are setting it up. And that's how they did do that with like these other ecosystems that we're talking about. But these other ecosystems we're talking about have a lot of volume, especially with the meme game,
100%.
right? So I think it's going to have to be WillFi wanting that and seeing opportunity, and then the partners that it makes sense with to kind of work with them.
Does Wilfi know what a rune is? I doubt it. I honestly doubt it. Does Wilfi want to be on Bitcoin? I 100% doubt it because there's no smart contracts. They're kind of going backwards at that point. So,
well, it depends on if you want to correct the liquidity thing that everybody has been talking about for so long. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely isn't. It's not an easy. It's not an easy onboarding situation for sure, and that's why they are going to the easier places initially. Right now, like if you remember, you go back to like early 2024, mid 2024, even to late 2024, there was a lot of headlines on X and in the crypto space about, hey, we're gonna be building a part of the Bitcoin ecosystem, this and that. We're gonna be connecting and all those things, and then that's gone away a lot, right? From a lot of these outer people, and now it's all about like connecting to Solana, right? And that's kind of been the theme, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't switch back because no one expected 2023 to come out of nowhere.
Well, you bring innovation, right? So that's the thing too, is like 2023, 24 happened because there was new innovation. That new innovation was Casey's indexers and indexing Bitcoin. That's kind of old now, right? In crypto, I think everything has like a 6 to 12 months of being able to have a window of where, wow, that's new innovation, right? Like right now, I think X402 is the biggest innovation in space. But if they don't get stuff going in the next 6 to 12 months, it's going to go away just like anything else, right? And I feel like just like DeFi lasted 6 to 12 months of huge, and then it became a normal thing now. But no one's buying DeFi tokens right now, right? Or thinking about DeFi is going to be the next big boom. It's all about the next big thing. And I think that the Bitcoin ecosystem stuff kind of sideways. The only one really still building in Bitcoin, honestly, is probably Omnity, and they're using ICP's tech stack in the back end because they're able to do stuff, and Liquidium, obviously, Fluid,
and
but
the scaling solutions too, though, like the layer 2s and stuff like Merlin and you have
Merlin 100%.
Yeah, and Spark's trying to do something which is, it seems like more towards payments, and they try to give a little taste to some of the degens, but we don't know if that's going to continue down that road.
Spark is dead in the sense of being a meme coin launchpad. I think they always wanted to be this payment solution, this PayPal solution. So I honestly think that the launch pads on Spark, they're not going to do well at this point. I think they're kind of to the wayside. I can't see people wanting to play there, and that's just because the people that were there, they're not the East, right? So the only reason Bitcoin even blew up was because of the East. I mean, it was like looking back, it was 80-20. 80% East users, 20% West users, in my opinion. And you can just see that now. You can see that now with runes. Right?
I don't think in 2023 it was that big of a disparity. I think maybe the
definitely.
2024, yeah, it was more lopsided, but 2023 it was more even, and then I think it started getting a little bit more lopsided towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
but it was, I mean, on crypto Twitter, it was all the West that was really pushing it and having spaces and all these things.
Twitter, that's the thing.
I know, but
WeChat and shit.
But my point is that like the activity that we saw was all coming from the West, and then it started to slow down a ton, and you can see the audience numbers kind of slow down with the spaces and things like that. And so that's when I think the East really kind of came in and took over more of that ecosystem. But even then, it's been them kind of backing off of it, right? And Solana, I feel like is more it's West more for sure, it's Solana, but the East does participate over there too. But their thing was BSC for a bit, and so I think they just go to where opportunity is, honestly.
Yeah. I think they do love Bitcoin. The East loves, I think
they love the fundamentals about it, and they look at it as like a shiny, precious.
Yeah.
Like Smeagol's.
All right, let's talk about the 10 a.m. manipulation that happened this morning. Bitcoin was sitting around 92,000, and then we had a big red hourly candle come in, and it just wrecked markets. It's if you look at this, right, you're seeing just complete utter sideways, right, on Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden, 1 hourly candle from 10 to 11 just completely just wrecked everything that's been happening. But if you zoom out, it is just complete consolidation right now. We've had consolidation here now, probably, I want to say, since since we had those lows on, was this in November, right? We had the lows of 80,000 technically. So we've been sideways since that point. Obviously, we're sitting around 90. So we are, a good 12% higher than that. But it's still, it's just, look at this, dude. This is just shakeout. This is shaking out the short, taking out the long, shaking out the shorts, shaking out the longs, shorts, over and over. This is just, it just sucks.
Imagine trading that.
I mean,
scalping it. I mean, you make good money scalping that if you get it right, But yeah, so obviously that's the hour chart, right? So it's more of a shorter term kind of choppiness, but not really. I guess like the choppiness has been with us for a while now.
I mean, going back.
That's why it doesn't get to me as much. Yeah, like after the Fed meeting, it did kind of bother me how they just the volatility that happened with it. I expected the volatility, but I expected more of like finding our footing and then kind of having a consistent, sustained uptrend. And that's not really what we got, right? We're having back and forth still. So, December 12th, we got 18 more days in this month and 19 more days in this month. Is it 31 days this month? Mm-hmm. Okay. 19 more days in this month. And we'll see if anything aggressive to the upside comes with that. It's definitely getting really, really short in terms of time remaining.
I'm ready for January 1st, honestly. If I could just hit a time machine button and just go 18 days in the future, I'm just so ready for this. This has been the worst year in my 5 years in crypto. I've been in crypto since August of 2020. So I'm officially in full 5 years, right? 5 years and a couple months. And this has been the worst. And, before this obviously was 2022. 2022 was like the worst for me. But now, looking back at that, I remember there still being opportunity, right? I'm feeling like there's opportunity. Even when Solana was like $11, I don't remember feeling like, I remember being like, oh, fuck, how can I get Solana? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like one of those things where I don't remember feeling this fatigued. Like, I think that's the word I'm looking for, fatigued in this market. Just like exhausted from the day-to-day bullshit, the grind of just trying to create something from nothing. And that's kind of what it is.
Well, and during that time period, because I experienced that too, and I think there was great opportunity for the first 3-4 months, and then when all that stuff crashed, when the Luna situation happened, I think it was Luna that was first, or maybe the war was announced first between Russia and Ukraine. They were really close.
The war was February, and the Luna.
Okay, so there was still opportunity after war then, and then when Luna happened, dude, everything that was in the Kronos ecosystem literally like got sucked out, and it was like just watching the chart going down on all these tokens and utility and memes. It didn't matter. And then I did look in a couple different areas like Ethereum, and I think that's whenever I started venturing into Polygon a little bit and stuff like that. There's just nothing that I could find, right? But we weren't working in the space like we do now, to where we're here every single day, right? And so we were able to like take our mind away from it for a bit, right? And say, okay, let me check back in a couple days or a week or whatever. When you're working in the space, it hits you like a million times harder because like you're dealing with it every single day. And when your job is to create content, but try to create genuine content and connect with your audience, it's even worse, because now what you're trying to do is you're trying to, have a fun, energetic live stream whenever everybody's, doom and gloom. But we've learned kind of how to do that by just kind of having fun and not so hyper focused ourselves on the price action all the time.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I don't know what's going on, but our numbers are flying right now. Someone says, "Are you live on Bonk.fun?" Yes, we are.
Yes,
live
we
on
are.
Bonk.fun, Zora, Rumble, Kick, Twitch, anywhere we can possibly go live or go live. But shout out to our X numbers that are just running up right now. Really, really appreciate that. Are we getting big pump on? Holy crap! Yes. Oh wow, our token bonded. Let's go. I don't know how I feel about that. What, should we move on? Let's move on. Ryan said it's never been like this before. That being said, this is probably the best time to accumulate as much as you can. Bandit says, you guys do a great job at it. We really appreciate you, Ryan, man. Man, I can't wait to meet you one day. I'm just gonna give you a hug, bro. I'm gonna buy you like some flowers. You're just my guy.
Buy him
No
some
homo.
flowers. Hold on a second.
What do you buy? What do you buy a guy?
A
Like
beer.
in the sense of like, I don't drink, so
Yeah.
for me,
But he might.
I'll take a soda. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that was
quick,
really weird.
quick.
I'm not gonna buy you flowers, but go.
Oh, shout out to Gramke. He says, "Say pump fun, pump fun." We just said it's so funny over there. They just like prove that you're like put your birth date on a piece of paper and do a clap 3 times or something like that. But anyways,
so, hold on real quick. So we in order to stream on Pump Fun, you need a token, right? So we created one about a month ago, and you guys just degened this thing to 82K. You guys are absolutely insane. Appreciate it, but we just need a token to stream, and we just want to stream everywhere, so that's why we're over there. But just thank you. I really appreciate you guys believing in us, or just trying to make money off us. But yeah, it is what it is, right? We'll move on. Let's get into the next topic here. US Treasury buybacks. Let me get rid of this. Okay, so let me show you this, guys. So US Treasury news. Treasury, this is the biggest one-day buy in the history. So this is quantitative easing at the best. The biggest one-day buy in the history of the Fed happened yesterday. Federal Reserve came in and bought it. Look how much they tried to buy. They tried to buy 33 billion, but only 12.5 was accepted.
By who? I thought they were the boss, the customer, and the store.
It's limit orders, right? So they come in and they put a bid down, and it's bid and asks, right? So it's just like their bids were only bought up. So it does show me that there is still another 200% more that they're probably when they did say that though, right? They did say they want to do 40 billion. So they probably just put bid offers into the market, and these got bid up, right? So, but is that crazy though? The biggest single day?
Yeah, I mean, that is crazy, number one. Number two, it makes me think that like Jerome Powell knows like what needs to happen because they're being extra aggressive right now, right? And also their bid is probably they making sure they're getting the best price, right? So that's why they were only able to get that many, or that much. But it does say hey, they are basically easing right now. They are buying these assets, and maybe they don't put it on paper yet, but this is kind of like that buffer period that you see on both sides of it, right? Like the tightening side and the easing side. And eventually what happens is the market will start to fill it, right? And then we'll start seeing liquidity, and hopefully we have half of the experience that we experienced in 2021.
Yeah.
At this point, I'll take that.
I agree for sure. But I love it. It's good. It's good to see. All right. So this morning we had gold really starting to run up. Does that concern you at all? Holy crap. They dumped gold this morning. Look at this. So we had this huge run up today. This is the hourly. Let's actually jump this to the 4 hour. I think the 4 hour show morning. So in the last all day, look at this thing. It's just been completely up only. And I haven't really noticed either from November 5th till today. It's just been up only. Huge drop today though, but it's probably just because we had some huge run-ups here. But gold running and Bitcoin not running, does that concern you?
No, it doesn't, because I feel like this has been like the intention of the powers to be anyways, right? Like gold has ran earlier this year, and Bitcoin really didn't get to experience that. Stocks have been running pretty much this year, hitting all-time high after all-time high. And yes, Bitcoin did experience, success. We got to 126 in October, barely touched it. But I don't think we've had our moment of, hey, it's go time for Bitcoin and crypto, right? And I think we will get that. And the more suppressed that we are, the more impactful I think it'll be once we do get it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I hope so. But let's move along though. So, okay, so this is interesting. So 15 years ago, Satoshi Nakamoto disappeared after posting on the Bitcoin forum for the last time. So this is it right here. It's tomorrow is the actual date. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. will be exactly 15 years. But Satoshi, you can see he created this account in November 19th, 2009. Remember, the Bitcoin white paper was put out October 31st of 2009. right? So it was, or was that 2008? 2008. So a year later was when I guess the forum was up and running. And so November 19th, to December 13th was his last. This was the only place Satoshi was active, was the Bitcoin forum. And then he disappeared. But crazy that that was 15 years ago.
Yeah, 15 years ago. And that makes me feel like even more so this was so strategic in the planning, right? Like we got to make this account disappear. And whether the whole plan was to have this anonymous founder and all that stuff, it worked perfectly, right? Because it's like, who can you be mad at? You can't be mad at Satoshi. He's not here anymore, right? And so I think the plan ended up working flawlessly. Now, is Bitcoin today what Satoshi initially wanted it to be? Probably not. But when you do that, when you ride off into the sunset, you got to kind of accept that it's probably not going to be exactly how you wanted it to be. So
yeah. 100%. You know what's funny though, because I read this book and he's talked about how 2 months after Satoshi disappeared, somebody got really active in that forum. You want to take a guess who it is? It's one of the 3 people. Somebody got really active after Satoshi
Adam
disappeared.
Beck.
Yep, almost like taking the role of Satoshi. He gets in and he's like, his first thing was, "Hey, I'm new to this Bitcoin thing." Right after Satoshi disappears, "I'm new to this Bitcoin thing. Can somebody send me some documents?" It was like the ultimate, like, what would you say to the chat room, right? He barely Adam Back account barely posted in the forum for 3 years, and then after Satoshi disappeared, he was like a daily person. So coincidence?
I guess. I mean, I know that you feel like he's a part of the trio, right? He's a part of the three that is Satoshi Nakamoto or whatever. And so we'll never know because they're not going to come in. Like, you'd be crazy to admit that right now.
Well,
don't you think?
I think what is going to happen is I think he has something written up for when he dies. I think Adam Backlund's a guy. I think he wants his legacy to pass on. I do think that he's going to put out like this momentum. It's going to be like in a will type thing where it can only be opened after he dies. And I think in that will is going to be like a white paper type written that's going to kind of explain the early days of it. So I do think we'll find out one day, but I think most of the members of Satoshi will be passed away by that point.
Yeah, exactly. And so if that ends up being the way that they find out, then that's probably the perfect way, right? It's to where you can't really hold anybody accountable for anything, type of situation like that.
And the keys are burned or something like that. It's gonna be written in there, like, don't even try to go after our families because the keys have been burned for 15 years or whatever it is, right? So all right. U.S. senators are pushing to finalize crypto market structure bill before Christmas. Do you think this getting pushed in, let's just say this gets pushed in on the 18th or the 19th of this month, do you think that could be what starts the run up, or do you think this is kind of already baked in? Because I actually feel like this is already kind of baked in, and I don't see a pump coming with this.
You don't have the banner up there. Sorry.
I freaking hate that.
There you go.
I gotta fix this real quick. I hate what they did. All right, fixed. God.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the plan, I feel like, right? The plan was to get this bill finalized and approved before the end of the year. And I think a lot of the people that are important in our space, have been pushing for this, right? They've been pushing to get this done. And I think it's going to, I think there's a good chance that it happens. And obviously it's going to be good for the space to have that kind of clarity.
Yeah, 100%. Move on. The Congress pushes Bitcoin into 401ks. Lawmakers urge SEC Chairman Paul Atkins to allow Bitcoin in 401ks, a move that could unlock $9 trillion in retirement capital and drive major institutionals in. This is another thing that could potentially push us into that next run up. Congress wants this in now. This is an executive bill that Trump passed, but SEC still has to approve it. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with Trump being able to put something in the law and then we still have to wait for the chairman to come out and kind of let this happen?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I guess like it you get rid of the checks and balances a little bit from it, and so it changes the way things have been, right? Like the way we've done things, and so that part I don't know how I feel about it, right? And it's kind of like whoever the chair is going to like be, right? Like, or whoever the current chair is, they kind of have to accept, unless they want like a war, right? Like kind of like a back and forth to where you're going to constantly get pressure on you and stuff like that. So that's where you know, I feel like maybe don't do this a lot. You know, don't take that approach a lot. So
yeah, man. All right, interactive brokers to let clients fund accounts using stable coins. So interactive brokers, you can think of them as like E-Trade or some of these other ones, right? And I hate that so much. I'm sorry, guys. It's just timer crap. All right, so interactive brokers is a large regulated online brokerage that lets customers trade and invest in many markets around the world. What do you think about this? This is huge. This is actually one of the biggest moves that I've seen in a very, very long time. In the sense of, you know, using stable coins in these markets is going to be something that is absolutely insane.
I mean, this is big because it really starts to bridge even more the TradFi people over, right? But how are we going to benefit from it? And I think that that's a fair question to ask, because we were the ones that have been here, right, this entire time, and we know the space. And so, sure, this is a TradFi entity that's doing this, but you know, is it going to bring more liquidity to the overall Web3 market? That's the big question. As of right, you would think so, because you know these are going to be tokenized assets. But like, are any of these tokens going to leave that ecosystem and go into, you know, other chains like Solana or BNB or Ethereum, whatever? We're going to see how much an effect, you know, how much of an effect it's going to be for these TradFi guys to kind of play in our area. Right? Are we going to have a positive effect, or are we going to have a negative effect? So far, I would say it hasn't been like super great, right? Since they've joined the party. So something like this, though, you can also get some interest from the Web3 natives to kind of play in a tokenized market, like, you know, commodities or, you know, securities and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Mr. Unfiltered says, in 100 years, the CIA, by the way, a Freedom Information Act, will say they made Bitcoin. I don't think so. I don't think so, Mr. Unfiltered. And Ryan says, you can't change the finance system completely overnight. It's been planned and hidden. Yeah, 100%. Shout out to you guys, man. Flowers and laughing in my hand. So yeah, sorry about that, Ryan. I'm still gonna get you flowers just as I said that. But all right, so we got some other stuff here. DTC participates can now transfer tokenized securities directly to registered wallets, which will be tracked by DTC's official records. DTC is the system big banks and brokers use to hold U.S. stocks electronically and keep the official ownership records so trades can settle. DTC stands for Depository Trust Company. So this is the company that holds these assets as these assets are traded. So it's already kind of very similar to what happens with, USDC and stuff like that. They hold the dollars, you trade them. So now they're actually taking that entire system and bringing that in to tokens. So obviously you're going to have the company that's going to keep that RWA asset, and then you're going to have these tokens trading. So as of now, this is one of the biggest things that happen here, because now this entire system will be on chain.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of like, you know, having these securities tokenized and you know, but my question to you is, like, are you going to be dabbling in this world? You know what I mean? And because they're going to be very specified.
We can't dabble in this world. You need to be an accredited investor.
So that's another thing. It's kind of like they're bringing that centralized aspect that's so it's still pretty, you know, it's aggressive for what we're used to, you know, you have to be an accredited investor, even though they're tokenizing these stocks. But then, like, there's also
these are bonds, but yeah.
Gotcha. Tokenized securities. That's where I got the stocks from.
Yeah.
But anyways, you know, but still they're coming into our world with it, right? And so, do you think, for example, like, you know, there's tokenized securities and stocks. Do you think they'll be able to bring these type of assets into like BNB and stuff?
This isn't for us, right? Like, no one in crypto holds bonds, right? If you like, I think like their safe assets are holding NVIDIA. Like, I don't think they're not. It's not. No one in crypto has a 60-40 portfolio where it's 40% bonds.
Does that change though with time?
No, not at all. No, I doubt it. If you're in crypto, I think you consider Bitcoin as your reserve asset. So I think I think people would want to hold Bitcoin rather than they would hold a bond, because it's just I just can't say it. So this isn't for us, but this is getting TradFi on our rails, right? This is getting TradFi to kind of learn what crypto is, which could eventually, we want everything to come on chain, right? We want everything. But to your point, I don't see how this really pumps our markets, I guess, right? This is just like an upgraded system, but it does help with them understanding, everything that is happening here.
Yeah, because they're going to be more involved, and people are going to research and take extra steps to
Yeah.
figure out like what else is there, out there. So
100%, 100%. All right, next thing here is Galaxy issued short-term corporate debt, U.S. commercial paper, as on-chain token on Solana, and Coinbase plus Franklin Templeton bought the issuance. So JP Morgan arranged the on-chain debt issuance for Galaxy HQ on Solana, supported by Coinbase's crypto as a service platform. This is pretty big as well, because now Franklin Templeton bought Galaxy debt from JP Morgan, which I think is pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, exactly right here. So Franklin Templeton is somebody who potentially will buy some of these bonds.
So, they basically said like the debt is tokenized, right? So then like how do you approach it in terms of paying it off or whatever like that, right? Because that was a statement, right? They're tokenizing the debt here. Is it like kind of like an NFT kind of tokenization, or is it like fungible, or is this just, what do you think this is? Is it just like a
Yeah.
statement on chain or what?
No, it's who holds the keys holds the interest rate, right? So the debt's just, as they pay it back, they're paying back with interest. So a portion of that debt obviously goes to pay it down, but a portion of that will go to the holder of that debt coin, right? So when you're holding that debt coin, you're just saying, hey, this is the wallet that I want that payments to be sent to.
Gotcha.
Right. So that's all it is. It's just a ownership of the debt, right? So once that debt is paid off and complete, they will burn that asset because it's no longer going to bring yield.
Okay. So basically, and then you're completed with it, right? There's no more with it.
gone.
So
It's wiped out.
that's cool, because there's like an official, and I'm sure this is going to be like a legal process that they figure out
Yeah.
as well. So
That's already kind of how it is, right? Like I can go into the market and buy a bond, right? That bond is in my account, and as people come in, like the corporate bonds, as people pay off that debt, I just get the yield from that, holding that bond. I don't actually hold anything besides that debt, but I bought that bond, right? So then it's an IOU saying, hey, as this is getting paid down, you receive that interest. That's all a bond really is. But we can move on. Tether plans to raise $20 billion, valuing themselves at $500 billion. Is this just a flex? It's just a hey, if you guys want to give us $20 billion, we'll take it at a $500 billion valuation. I don't think they need the money. I think this is a complete flex.
well, I mean, I feel like they can pretty much do whatever they want at this point. If it's to raise money, if it's to, actually have a stable coin that follows in the US regulation, they can figure it out at this point, right? They've been challenged so many times and been proven to not, get themselves in like a bad spot. Like they, you know what I mean? So to me, is it a flex? Not really. They probably will utilize this for something. They're it's very strategic. Sounds very strategic in my opinion, right? So, but yeah, Tether can pretty much do whatever they want. They can raise as much money as they need. I feel like that. I truly do.
Yeah, for sure. The Bank of Japan is moving to raise its policy rate at the December 18th, 19 monetary policy meeting, with 25 basis point increase from a 0.5 to 0.75, emerging as a leading option. So this is going to affect our markets, we like it or not. This is going to be the Japan carry trade. So right now what is happening is the US is dropping their rates Japan is now increasing their rates. So what people did, they would borrow money from Japan and then buy US bonds, right? So you're actually getting 3 to 4% with the US bonds, and then you're only borrowing at, I think it was like 0.5 or 0.25 in the last year or so. So you were making 3%. And this is something the Warren Buffetts did of the world. So that this is now, it's still profitable. But as the United States cuts rates and as Japan raises rates, we're going to get to an even keel here. And this could really topple a lot of systems, right? So there's two things there though, that these actually might get a little risky. The people that are involved in these carry trades might just say, okay, as the US bonds are dropping here, I need to get in something that a little bit more risky. And potentially that risky could be Bitcoin, right? They could be borrowing from Japan to buy Bitcoin instead of buying bonds as the bonds get cheaper. Do you see something like that happening, to where this Japan carry trade might not be the worst thing to happen to our system here?
Well, if you remember the last time there was a big deal with the carry trade, I felt like our industry got cut way harder. Like right now, we're bouncing around, this boring, stagnant price range with Bitcoin. But yeah, I mean those opportunities are closed now. They're closing the typical ones that they did for TradFi, right? And so are they going to leverage this now for another asset? I don't even think that they're going to try super hard to figure that out, right? I think more than anything they're going to be focused on what's happening here and like the opportunities in the US, right? So, once rates get to that 3.25, whether that takes 3 months or 5 months, however long it takes, then we'll probably start to see more borrowing and stuff like that. And maybe that's whenever people get into purchasing Bitcoin with those type of funds, right? But I think this is going to be more of like this chapter is closing a bit, because Japan as well is they realized what was happening too, and they are being very, very conservative for their economy right now. So
For sure, for sure. We'll see what happens with that, but I that could really affect markets. That could be what's making the markets not really pumping here as well. But we'll see. Solana leads 24-hour DEX volume for rankings with 4.04 billion, followed by Ethereum at 1.9. So what you're saying in the beginning of the show today is correct, right? The fact that we are seeing Solana actually start moving a little bit when you're beating Ethereum, which we do know is giant transactions, right? They're millions and millions of dollars, and Solana is just hundreds of thousands of little transactions. So what do you think? Do you think this is accurate here? Do you think that, and can this continue?
yeah, I mean it's being reported, right? So I hope it's accurate in terms of the lead. But
Well, when I
it's
say accurate, I mean, is this kind of what you've been feeling
like
in
the
the market?
theme.
Like, yeah, like in the sense of seeing, I mean, in the beginning of the show, you were saying there was a lot of activity, right? So
Yeah, there's a lot of meme trading activity that's happening on Solana for sure, and I've seen an uptick, and it's always been more active than BNB. When I see Ethereum being at that in between, it's weird to me because I don't see where that's happening, but obviously it is. I think they're just more like whale trades or institutional style trading on the DEX. I don't know where that's coming from. It's definitely not memes. You know what I mean? Unless it's like Pepe and Sheeb and stuff like that, just whales trading those. But I do see the lead with Solana. And the weird thing about that is that like I feel like sometimes Solana is just undervalued as a token
yeah,
because you'll see more volume there, you'll see more activity, but then BNB will be a higher market cap, and so that throws me off a little bit. You know what I mean? So because I've played on both. I played on BSC and Solana, and this was whenever BSC kind of took a lot of the liquidity for a little bit. I was a little bit late to that, so about 2 weeks late, and I still felt like Solana had a little bit more volume at that time.
yeah, no, 100%. All right, let's jump to the next thing here. Bitcoin crypto price action bubbles. Curious what you kind of think. I kind of have a feeling though what you're going to say going into the weekend. I'm kind of feeling bearish here, so I got a feeling that you're going to see some bearishness on the chart here. No, I don't hear you.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. But it's not looking too great. But let's jump into the price action here. Before we do, guys, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like for us and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn your notifications on. All that great stuff. On the X side, let's share the space as much as possible. Shout out to Abstract, Pump Streams, all you guys, Zora, everybody. We appreciate your support there. Let's jump into some Bitcoin here. You can see here on the hour chart that it is looking like it wants to go down further. And this is kind of an aggressive MACD reading here. You can see, the sell pressure looks pretty intense so far, but we are on a green candle. So there's a little bit of a bounce back here. So we'll see if this starts to crack, right? And if that happens, then, we could see a little bit of a reversal, but man, I don't know. You can see the fast line is almost pointing straight down. The stochastics as well just crossed over that oversold territory. So it is not looking great for Bitcoin on the hour chart. But we were just under 90,000 and it seems like it wants to kind of bounce back here a little bit. So we'll see if we get some help, and see if we can jump back up here. But let's take a look at the support and resistance as well. And going back to 6 a.m. here, and you can see that support is starting to come through. You can see in this area, which is, the highest volume area in this kind of cluster of price points. And then above that, support is strong as well. Below it catches it too. So we're looking okay right here. Like we're trying to, stop the bleeding a bit. Let's see if, we can really start to reverse this, right? So if I had to guess for the rest of today, I would say, choppy with some downside. Maybe we do touch down to 88, but I hope I'm wrong. Heading into the weekend, it's not as concerning to me because tomorrow is Saturday and it's not usually a super volatile in terms of, like volume and crushing the price, or even like, making it like jump super high as well. So probably see more of a scalping type of activity tomorrow. And then going to the 4 hour here for Bitcoin. We pretty much didn't even have a buy pressure session here, coming right out of that so quickly and straight into sell pressure. So yeah, doesn't look super great, but again, I'm glad it's happening at the end of the week rather than starting off the week this way. And then you can see the daily. Oh man, this is where my hope kind of comes into, where we don't have a really strong bleed out, because then we could lose the daily chart here and the buy pressure momentum and come out of this, which is a little bit of uptrend that we've had from the daily chart for Bitcoin, and then going into a sell pressure session. But if it does go into sell pressure, let's say that we come out of this, let's hope it's more sideways, right? And then we create another uptrend to finish the year. But as of right now, those other time frames, the shorter ones, are kind of pointing towards it wanting to close out the daily here. So we'll get that answer, I think, on Sunday to see, where the daily is going to be to kick off the week next week. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is, let's see, is it not back under 3,000 just yet, but the hour does look very similar to Bitcoin in terms of down pressure, sell pressure here. And then you can see on the 4 hour, the 4 hour is definitely very aggressive to the downside for Ethereum. So probably see below 3K today on that. Again, though, heading into the weekend, so not too worried or concerned there. And then the daily looks like it's, about to lose it as well, just like Bitcoin there. Let's take a look at the alt market here. You're seeing about a 60% pullback, 40% draw up, right? Most of these blue chips are anywhere between 5 and 7% to the pullback, being in the red today. You see stuff like Story Protocol being pulled back about 8%. And then ICP about 4%, Ethereum 3% here. And then some of the tokens that are pulling up, you see Hyperliquid pulling up 5%. And then AB token is up about 17%. And then you see Solana kind of staying even here with a slight push to the upside, 0.9%. positive there. And then let's take a look at the top 200 here. You got Merlin Chain up 13%, sitting at 40 cents. You've got Fartcoin, which this is weird. Like everything else is down and the Fartcoin is up. You see Fartcoin at 37 cents, up 10%. So, hey, that could signal something.
Kind of goes with what you're saying about the trenches
activity,
being activity, right? So This is something we've been saying for the longest time. Farcoin is the leading indicator for those assets for meme coins, right? So that's kind of what you're seeing right now. I mean, Pippin, same thing. Pippin is that AI coin, right? So interesting, really interesting.
Yeah, sitting at $353 million market cap for Pippin is up 9%. Luna Classic pulling back 15%. And then kind of the same scenario here, right? You're saying, well, it's a little bit less. It's more like 3 to 6% pullback on average for the 100 through 200 ranked tokens. But yeah, that's kind of where we are, guys, on this Friday. Seems like things have pulled back, but again, we are heading into the weekend, so not too worried there.
Yeah, man. All right. Let's kind of get back to some topics here. Any comments? Any comments in here? So, all right. So Solana official account came out and said the Firedancer is now live on Solana mainnet after 3 years of development, and it has been running on a handful of validators for 100 days, producing 50,000 blocks. Firedancer aims to make Solana faster and more reliable by boosting validator performance and reducing congestion. A big TPS demo of 1 million transactions per second were happening in the test net, so we'll kind of see if this can get there. But users benefit through smoother confirmations. So I guess I'm ask you, over the last 3 months, have you seen anything that would make you think that this is actually benefiting so far? Have you seen a faster Solana in the last 3 months?
Overall, I mean, I feel like it's pretty similar, most everybody trades with terminals on Solana whenever you're trading meme coins, because it's just such a fast environment. And so you can't really tell, right? But if you use a regular wallet, is it because you're just, your slippage isn't high enough and, you're not going to pay that much, right? With a regular wallet. I mean, you can, but when I use a regular wallet, I just get kind of hung up a bit, but that's not because of the TPS. It's because of the competition, right? The bribes and all those things, right? So I can't really tell, but look, if they're trying to get faster, I feel like that's going to be more for like payment rails, right? Because like at this point, UI with Solana is pretty solid. I mean, you're not complaining in terms of speed, right? Whenever I send something somewhere, it's almost instantaneous. Monad for an EVM chain definitely does compete with that, though. That's the only EVM one that I've seen. But yeah, so I mean, I guess if they're trying to make it faster, they're probably trying to onboard, these payment rails and big financial companies that are needing lightning fast TPS. So
yeah, 100%. And on top of that, there's a protocol called Light Protocol. They announced a Light token, a new token standard on Solana that 200x cheaper than SPL and fully DeFi. So do you think Solana ever goes away from the SPL tokens and kind of gets into this new Light Protocol thing? It's crazy because on Bitcoin we always have a war between protocols, right? Whether that's what is it, BRC20, Runes, and all these other ones. But now we're kind of seeing that on Solana. But that's the thing too, is like one of these launch pads, if they allow you to launch these these Light Protocol tokens, we might see some meme coins come from that as well.
Yeah, I mean 200x cheaper. That's crazy. And then their competition between standards are different though, because like they can easily, interchange and use both standards right now, and the user won't really notice too much. I mean, that's my like understanding, right? But obviously when it comes to Bitcoin, you're still trying to, figure out like which meta protocols is the dominant one, which one's going to win, this, that, and the other. And so I don't think it's as big of a deal in terms of friction, right? I don't think there's going to be much friction with this. If anything, it's just like an upgrade of, costs and stuff like that. So it's good. Like, honestly, if you want me to be honest, I feel like it's nothing but positive.
Do you think one day we might see a complete migration from SPL to these Light tokens if they work correctly, or is SPL just like, I mean, it's been around now for 6 years maybe, and it's just here, but I mean, this is faster.
I mean, as long as it doesn't affect like the the way that the chain reads, these standards and stuff, and they're still compatible through all the protocols, then I think it's okay, to have different ones. It's almost kind of like, different utility for different standards too, right? I mean, obviously NFTs are completely different. They're not, fungible. And so when you're speaking about fungible tokens, like if you're able to kind of, pack inside that standard more things that are just more like defaulted, right? Whether, that's just you deploying the token without adding a bunch of code, like you can, simply, do whatever you want to do, whether that's like, what's it called whenever you get, you sell something and you got residual type of, payments or something like that. I do expect that to be kind of the future, right? Like to where these standards become more and more useful for companies and stuff like that. So the upgrading of these tokens, though, that's where I'm like, okay, that sounds like a headache, right? But if they're able to just kind of like do it one-off type of situation, we're still on the SPL standard with our project and community, but we want to upgrade so we can do these things, and I can just do it one by one or one project at a time, then I think that's probably the best approach. Because to do like a mass upgrade would be interesting.
Yeah, 100%. And shout out to Be Wise, my guy. Appreciate you, my friend, and everyone who's commenting today. All right. Let's kind of get into what we want to get from now. Should we do trenches or just kind of?
Yeah, we can talk about the trenches and do a little update before Adam comes in, and show a little bit of like the strategy I showed you yesterday. Maybe if you want to go over that. What do you think?
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
All right. Let me bring up the thing here. So what I was going over with Shizzy yesterday was just kind of using terminals, right? And the one specifically was Axiom. And because they have a lot of ways to be able to filter things out, right? And right now, the biggest thing is being able to, shoot, I'm gonna have to, because I'm using my new computer today. Give me a second. See if I can log in here. But being able to set your filters to help you not get, basically in a situation to where you don't have any time to, think about what your next move is going to be, right? And is there any way you can pull up your Axiom or another one like that?
Yeah. Because
I need to download the wallet for this one. But basically what we're doing is setting some of these filters to, have a certain minimum global fee amount, also a minimum of market cap amounts. And what that does, the global fee side of things, it actually, lets you filter out the people that are deploying tokens maliciously and creating fake volume from it and those type of things, because they're not paying, the global fee. It doesn't run up as much, right? So whenever you do have, like, let's say, a new token launch and you have the filter to a global fee of 1, then that there's some sort of organic traffic volume, I should say, that's happening between traders on that token. And what I found is that most of the time, those type of tokens, you're able to have a little bit of time to think, okay, do I want to stay in this? Is the narrative good? Is there actual community forming around this, right? And so instead of having, I don't know, a minute to make a decision, now you have about, maybe 5-10 minutes, which is longer, but, you still have to play it very, very carefully. And I'm curious, like, I felt like you told me earlier that you added those settings and you tried it out and you still said it was pretty hard.
Oh, Solana the Solana trenches are just ridiculous, right? So there's a bunch of people just trying to make as much money as they possibly can, and it's just like, it's just, I don't know. So let's just kind of go over what those settings were for anyone. So this is a new account here. So basically, you want to come in here, you want to come up here, and then you want to go down to something that's called
metrics.
It was
go to the metrics tab.
Okay, gotcha.
And then global fees at the bottom.
And what is that? If you know,
so that's
put it to 1.
Yeah, so that's the fee. Yeah, put it to 1, and you hit apply all. So that's the fees that are being paid, through the platform and stuff, right? So if I deployed the token, then I'm not going to pay fees on my own, right? Like, because that goes towards
Gotcha.
the thing, you know. So the global fees is other people trading. That's kind of like one of the metrics that you can check, right? And then what some people like to do on that same filter, if you go back to that filter,
Yeah.
and you go to market cap, you can set a minimum market cap, right? So you can set something like $9,000 for market cap, right? And then what that'll do is that'll take out anything that's already been kind of went up to like 10,000 and back down to like, you know, 2,000-3,000 or whatever. And so you can set that at different levels, you know, final stretch, new pairs, migrated. I do the global fee thing on all three. Right. So just for the audience too, this is a really, really risky area of the space right now. It's the meme coin space that's you know, on Solana. But I'm not sure if you can do the same thing for the USD1 on here. That I know you can do it on GMGN, but if you click that filter one more time, you might be able to do that. Yeah. Okay. So just real quick, leave it here. So, you know, I was talking about how USD1's pairs are really hot right now. So if you want to just search those, you can turn off the other paired tokens, right? So you can just set it to USD1 and you can see everything that's coming through that's paired with USD1. So that's another thing that you can use to kind of give you an advantage. And you can see that Grinch token is going crazy. By the way, when you see those kind of just right off the bat, like going so fast like that, and that they migrated, it's almost kind of like, you know, that there's like a heavily like bundled bot type of situation, volume bot happening with that, right? So you got to roll the dice with that, you know, whether you got in at like 10K, 15K, whatever. And because one of two things is going to happen. One, they're going to try to fake pump it to the upside to just bring it back really quick. Or two, they pump it up, bring it back, but then, you know, have a continuation because they feel like the narrative is that good, right? So these are things that you got to learn, and it's hard. Like you're learning through losses a lot of times, right? But I use multiple tools too. So I'll use like GMGN as well to kind of look at my charting of the token and stuff like that while I'm using this. So while you have your settings set here, what you can do is you can kind of right click on the Discover tab at the front. And we went over this yesterday, but this is more of like an in-depth type of thing. And you can see the stuff that's like popping off here, right? Because this is trending. You can see that first tab that's under Discover, it's trending. And then what you do is you kind of tab back and forth. Okay, one's catching right, you know, really, really well on the trending tab, and then you go back to your pulse that you were on before. That's why I said right click and open with a new tab. But
oh wait, we're up here.
Yeah, right click that, open new tab, very top.
Gotcha.
There you go.
I gotcha.
You get what I'm saying? Okay. So then you check and see if the one that's running hot is you know, in this group that you set with your filters already, right? So you can kind of see, okay, it's organic traffic because it's hit that global fee amount. So this is a strategy that, you know, I've used, and everybody, you know, comes up with their own kind of strategies as well. But it's a tough game, man. It's a tough game. You know, new pairs are the hardest part of meme coin trading because you're almost guaranteed that it's going to pull back a significant percentage, right? No matter how successful it does on day one. But yeah. Okay, so did this help you at all though?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean 100%. Like it definitely helped me in the sense of, you know, not seeing the craziness that was happening. So in the new pairs without that filter on, it's just like every second and you don't know what's real, what's not. So it was really kind of taking away the fake ones, right? Because every coin that did good over here, I was noticing immediately would have another copycat, right? And they would just kind of pop along. But with this filter, that kind of went away. Wasn't worried about like not buying the right coin and stuff like that anymore. So that was one thing that was good, unless, you know, it gets over that fee amount, which a lot of them don't do anyway. So and stuff like that. But I do like the USD1 thing because I feel like, you know, you can set it to where you're still trading with Axiom, but you're kind of on Pump.fun.
Yeah,
I mean, you're kind of on you know, Bonk.fun or on Pump.fun, like wherever you want to base. I think that's pretty cool. Because if you put it to Solana, you're only going to get the Solana ones. You put it to USD1, you're only getting the Bonk.fun ones.
Pretty much.
But yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, you could filter just Bonk because most, like 99% of the Bonk tokens that are getting pushed through this, you know, they're being paired with USD1. So, you know, so you kind of learn your strategy here, and what you can do is you can take that to Agent Hustle as well.
Yeah.
So now, based on kind of what I've told you, right? You can say, when you go to Agent Hustle, you can say, hey, Hustle, what's hot right now in the Solana trenches? I want to look at USD1 pairs only, and I only want to look at pairs that have at least a minimum of 1 global fee. Now you don't have to set all those settings, but you learned it. You get what I'm saying? Kind of like what Ryan is saying. He says, awesome stuff, lots of knowledge. Yes, that's the whole point of the show is, taking knowledge and being able to also like scale that out. And I think that's where Hustle can kind of come in as well. Because if it's like vibe coding, right?
Yeah.
Like you and I aren't developers by trade. So if we went into vibe coding right now with ChatGPT, it'd be still kind of tough because we tell ChatGPT what we want.
Yeah.
But if someone that's a coder went in, it makes his life like 100 times easier because he has the lingo down. He can ask exactly from a coder technical perspective what to do. And that's what you can do with knowledge and trading and stuff like that with memes is you leverage that with Hustle or whatever, right? So
it's definitely it's like a performance enhancing drug, right? That's what AI could be for them, for sure. Let's jump over to Magic Eden, right? The NFT stuff. So I've been looking around, watching a lot of different creators, and every single one of them has been saying something that really has been kind of resonated with me a little bit, that NFTs are dead, right? That completely just destroyed right now. And you can actually see on Magic Eden, if you come and look at this, do you see more NFTs or do you see more Pokemon cards right now? So, because I'm just seeing Pokemon card, right? In that sense of what's happening with the plays here. Do you agree with that? Do you think NFTs right now are kind of at their lowest point?
yeah, I mean they are. It's pretty obvious, right? And
well, do you think they go lower? I guess my question should have been.
I don't think so. I think they're pretty close to the bottom. I mean, and I say that like about like all the risky parts of the space, right? Like meme coins are pretty close to the bottom. NFTs are pretty close to the bottom. And if you look at there's actually a chart out there that shows like the meme coin dominance in altcoins, and right now it's definitely like at the bottom. Right. So I do think that these are really cheap prices for NFTs. And also, I mean, like the pivot with like that Magic Eden did, I wouldn't say pivot necessarily fully pivot, but like, adding and showcasing, cards, right? Pokemon cards. Obviously, they're looking for different ways to gain revenue, right?
Yeah.
And new users and stuff like that, because the NFTs are just not hitting like they were before.
For sure. I mean, seeing Pudgy Penguins at 15K is insane to me. I mean, these were just 40,000 in the summer. Right, $40,000 in the summertime, and now they're down to 15.96. Bored Ape, you can get a Bored Ape at 15K. Nakamigos at $500. Moonbirds at 4,000. I mean, these are some of the cheapest prices I've seen in a very long time, and it's not just on Ethereum, right? You can take it over to Bitcoin. You can get okay. How do you get to the NFTs from here? Okay, you can get Taproot Wizard for 8K. You can get a Node Monkey for 2,000, a Puppet for 1.1, Pizza Ninjas for $1,000, Ordinal Maxibus for 800, Runestones for a little over $100. And I guess we can take a look at the runes too, because the runes right now 107 for Dog. This is like an all-time low for Dog.
Yeah, I mean, don't get below 100 million. That's my thing with Dog, because like, man, that would be like such a like threshold that's like been lost, right?
Yeah.
And man, that would be, I think that would be detrimental. And they're close, so I mean, maybe I'm over exaggerating that, right? So because like they could get down to 90, 95 and then pop back above it, right? But I'm just so used to seeing it above 100 million. That would be so weird to me to see that.
Yeah, 100%. $1 billion cat sitting at 3 million, Gizmo at 1 million, Mim at $8 million. Mim was 85 million in August.
Like, was it August?
August.
So that's when Kraken did all the stuff. Was August?
It was the summer. Remember Rune June?
Yeah. So so it was before that then. It was before August. Then when they were launched.
Magic Internet Money got launched in August. Yeah.
Okay.
Dog was like the last week of July.
And what's MIM now? 5 million?
8.5.
8.5 million. Yeah. So I mean, is it a steal though? Because you were getting bullish on runes just like 3 days ago.
I am really bullish on runes right now, dude. But the question is this the bottom? I guess I don't think this is the bottom. And this, let me answer why. I think a lot of people right now are there's about 18 days. There's about what 10, 12 days left till Christmas, and I think that like a lot of people are just like, where am I going to get this money from? And a lot of them are kind of pushing back, and kind of seeing like, where can I extract some money from? I do think runes is probably one of the places people do take from. And, you know, because I had somebody reach out to me about a week ago and they're like, yo, where the hell can I dump my order and my sats? And I was like, MEXC.
Exchanges.
Well, there's a few, right? But not in the US. You can't just sign up for, you know, Binance, or you can't sign up for, you know,
I wonder
some
if
of
you
these
can
larger exchanges.
sell them on
KYC.
Binance.us because that's activated again.
No. So Binance US is very similar to what Coinbase offers in the sense of coins.
Okay.
It's like it's not like that. So it's not like the same assets. And I learned that the hard way. But already, I mean, I guess you could crack them with the same thing. There's like, you know, there's KYC and stuff like that. And this person didn't want to go that route. So I got told about MEXC and stuff like that. So we were talking about that. And so MEXC really is like the only place with like no KYC that you can actually trade these assets. Because OnChain is almost impossible because like you can list it, but I mean, you might have to wait a while to actually get that. So OKX wallet always has room prices, but I have no idea where they're getting the prices from. They're getting them from a lot of them are getting the price action from the Solana dexes, which is weird. I've noticed that as well.
OKX, you think?
Get the OKX wallet, like Xverse too. Xverse wallet shows the dog price from the Solana because what they're getting it from CoinGecko, and CoinGecko is showing the dex price from Solana.
Yeah, I mean, you can't use an oracle with the way that runes trade on layer 1, you know, because it's just so everywhere.
Well, stuff like Mr. Yen on CoinGecko, they actually use the Magic Eden price. So when you look at a chart on CoinGecko, you just see stuff like this, like just squares, like
because it hasn't changed in so long.
I know, it's so weird. It's so weird. But yeah, I mean, I really hope that the bottom is in for a lot of these coins, man. But I feel like we could definitely kind of be at the bottom, if not close. But I could also see a potential another maybe 50% down from where we are from a lot of these things. Going
50%?
50%.
So you can see dog at like 50 million.
Oh yeah, 50 million, yeah.
Wow.
Just because think about the next 12 days. Like I think the next 12 days going into Christmas without any pump. I'm actually kind of thinking right now Bitcoin's going to fall back down to 80,000. And what that's going to bring to the space for the next 18 days. So I'm really bearish right now because of the fact that in a bear market, good news, price go down like we've just gotten. Bad news, price go down. Everything else is sideways.
Well, price go down and
is sideways.
Sideways, yeah.
No news is sideways. So it's just like, you're saying, obviously you're saying $2,000 up, $2,000 down, but that's just sideways at the end of the day, right? So it's like,
well, I felt like the good news gave us sideways. It gave us sideways.
Well, I think we were at 80,000, and I think, because the market is forward looking, a lot of people were looking forward, and that's why we got 90K. But now I can kind of see us getting pushed back to 80K. I think anything over 5% to me is not sideways. Sideways is like just like trading between like 5% of its market cap.
Yeah, but I say good news that we got from the meeting gave us sideways because before the meeting we were at like 92. After the meeting we went to like 90 or something, and then later on that night we went to 94, and then the next day we were sideways. We were back, so that's where we are right now. So that's why I feel like, sideways is what we've been getting. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But one thing that we talked about before the show today was how, you said maybe it was after the show yesterday, someone had commented on one of your posts and said, you know, this takes time whenever the transition starts happening to
Yeah.
QE for markets to react. And I agree with that, because you have to change the psychology of the market. And right now, the psychology of the market is like, I got to take my money where I can get it type of mentality, right? And so, you know,
The only problem with that is the markets are forward looking, and that kind of completely takes that away.
well,
Right.
they're forward looking. I think institutions and stuff like that are forward looking, but also, you know, the participants and stuff like that. When you do a big shift transition, I think it's different. I think it's a little different, you know, just a little bit more times needed to believe it. You know what I mean? To believe in something. Because right now, we see it everywhere in our space. Like, the belief of the space is just like at an all-time low, I feel like, in terms of not institutions, participants, right? Like retail participants, or, you know, Web3 natives and stuff like that. I mean, I had someone pay me in Zelle the other day, but he was talking about his crypto and he had to move. This is in real life, right?
Yeah.
And he's kind of like one of those retail users that uses Coinbase, and, you know, that's pretty as far as he gets. And he didn't know that, like, I did a show about this and stuff like that. And so I asked him, I was like, what do you think about the markets? And he was like, man, this year's been tough. You know, there's no sustainability, no, you know, like, you can't make money. Like, you know, I made money good in 2024 and all these things, is what he was saying. And that's from a guy that's like, you know, maybe looks into the market like once every week or something, or a couple times a week. So retail feels like that right now. And until they change their perspective and sentiment, then I think it's gonna be really tight, you know.
Yeah,
Santa rallies can change that, I guess, but where the money gonna come from? It's like, you know, always asking, where's the yield come from? Well, where's the liquidity come from for Santa rally this time?
That's the biggest problem right now, is I just don't see where liquidity is going to come from. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm just like,
how can we possibly get bullish right now? Like, what would change right now? Because we've gotten all the changes happening. We've gotten everything that we possibly could ask for. We are in a rate cutting cycle. We are stopping quantitative tightening. We are entering quantitative easing. I don't care what they say. I mean, doing the biggest buyback of bonds ever is quantitative easing, right? It's just one of those things where it's like, you know, I don't know. But Stan has a really good question. He says, is rotisserie chicken healthier than baked chicken? I mean, that's where we're at right now in crypto. This is where we are at.
Man.
We are talking.
I actually needed that comment for the show, to be
know.
honest. Like, 'cause I was like my mind was kind of just like on something. You probably know what I'm talking about. But anyways,
yeah, that was.
But
terrible.
anyways,
My
and
stomach
so
hurts
appreciate that comment. Okay, so let's try to answer this. What do you think? Is rotisserie chicken healthier than baked chicken?
I actually like something better.
Okay, well, before you go into that, baked chicken sounds healthier to me, but rotisserie chicken sounds tastier.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, so what's better?
I don't worry about healthy when it comes to chicken. Chicken and means chicken. I don't care if it's fried or whatever. It's better than eating a bag of chips. Like, to me, it's just like, but tastier is rotisserie, obviously. But you're able to kind of like let the juices flow in the bake, put it in a pot, and you can kind of like grab the juice underneath and dump it on the top. But I'm putting this in the timelines too, chicken talk. But my favorite, honestly, is crockpot chicken. You put a whole chicken in the crockpot. You throw some garlic.
Swears by crockpot. He says that crockpot can cure cancer. It can do all types of things. Tell everybody about your crock
pot. So we're changing the show to Crockpot Revolution. We're gonna just start talking about crockpot recipes, and we're just gonna, because there's nothing happening in crypto right now. But nah, just kidding. There's actually a lot happening in crypto, and it's all really coming from one team. And that team is the guys over at Agent Hustle. So every Friday, we are lucky enough to have great guys from Agent Hustle. Today, we have Adam back. He's back here. I said Adam back. We have Adam McBride back.
Oh my God, it's Adam back. He's been
we got Adam McBride back. Last week we had the great Chris Dav, We've had Jake on many times, so it's great. It's gonna be great to talk to Adam today. But real quick, what Agent Hustle is? Agent Hustle is your one-stop shop for all your needs when it comes to trading with AI, your AI helper. There's no reason to use ChatGPT. There's no reason to use any other AI because Agent Hustle is actually the guy on Solana, and not just Solana. They're on Hedera, their own Binance Smart Chain, and they're on a couple other places as well. It's really exciting. Definitely check out Agent Hustle, but it's not just that. They're having something huge happening right now, which is the biggest migration event in history. Migrate.fun is doing about 20 plus projects that are actually going to Pump.fun. This is the first time in history we're seeing migrations to Pump.fun all through these guys at Migrate.fun. And it is an exciting time to be in this ecosystem, but it's not just that. They also are doing really cool stuff with Emblem Vault. And we're going to talk about all this right now. So without further ado, let's bring up the great Adam McBride. Adam, welcome back to OnChain Revolution, man. What's up, dude?
Yo, bro, I got to get some of these crockpot recipes, bro. Well, my
welcome
wife,
back to Crockpot Revolution. No,
my wife uses a pressure cooker, and every time she puts that thing on, I'm like, bro, is this going to be the end, man? Is she going to blow up our house with that stupid pressure cooker, man? I don't know, bro.
Dude,
I like using DoorDash. Let's just order food, bro. I don't want to cook anything, man.
The crock pot is the greatest thing in the world, dude. Like I make dinner for our family here, and I just put it on at 8 o'clock in the morning. There's a couple of things of chicken in there. Put some sauce on that. Later, put some noodles. Right? I make every meal in the crock pot because I don't gotta cook. I go up at 2 o'clock when they're getting home from school, and I'm like, oh, it's in the crock pot. Go eat. Like it's the greatest thing ever.
What's your kids are never gonna eat crockpot meals, bro. They're like, I'm so sick of goddamn crockpot meals, man.
You can make some really good stuff in there, bro.
I know you can.
What's the fast one that I was telling you about?
Pressure cooker. That's what.
No, but what's it called? I forgot. It's like a. Anyways, yeah, I use that. It's
you
like
do
like,
use it,
yeah,
bro.
shorter.
You just gotta be careful, dude. I know there every couple times a year down here in Costa Rica, somebody blew up the fucking kitchen with the goddamn pressure cooker.
Damn,
you just gotta be careful. Just be careful.
That's crazy. But you guys have been super busy, man.
Crazy.
You know, and that's a good thing, especially with you guys, because I feel like you guys have really built this like formidable entity in Emblem and the products within, right? Like each product that you guys have that's live right now is generating revenue. And I don't think many, Web3 native builders without funding can say that, you know what I mean? And so you guys have really done a great job. So, definitely props to you and the team. But I want to kind of start things off a little bit from, the NFT ordinal side of things, because I know that that's kind of one of the areas that you are, you have that specialty in with your history, NFT history, knowledge, and all that stuff. But Shizzy was asking during the live stream before you came on, is this the bottom for NFTs, or do you see like going down? He says possibly another 50%.
Bro, I mean, it's like the old, investment advice. It's like, oh yeah, it's lost 80% of its value. Now it just has 80% more to go, right? You can get these like it goes there is always lower, bro, right? So I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think Leo selling his 69 was a bit of a bummer for a lot of people on the timeline, but I always said, dude, I don't look at it that way. I just look people have to sell for whatever reasons,
Christmas is here, right?
That's Christmas here, bro. The kid needs the new, Kung Fu Grip action figure, bro. It's like, he got to sell. You got to make some money. It's one of these things where NFTs, even during 21, I said, during the kind of historical NFT, boom cycle, I was like, but, for the rest of the world to come into NFTs and really own NFTs may take a decade, and I think we're at that point now, where the belief that was founded in 21, which was really strong and correct, I'm still very much a believer that it was correct. We're just at that, we're hitting the bottom stages now, where the people who actually believed in it are like, oh man, maybe I was wrong. Maybe that was stupid, and I think that you're wrong if you're thinking that, but that's not to say that Bored Apes, I mean, I saw today, you can pick up a Bored Ape for 5 ETH, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and I'm just like, could it go to 2 ETH? Could it go to 1 ETH? Could it go to 0.5 ETH? Like, yeah, it can, but does that mean that NFTs aren't going to be valuable or hold a place in society? Like, I know with basically, unless, the internet stops working and we stop using computers, like I know that NFTs are going to be an important part of our society, how we view them and where the value lies, that's where it gets really, fun and interesting and hard to predict where the value lies. But NFTs aren't going anywhere. Are we going to see this like massive bull run of, $100,000 NFTs? I'd say probably not, right? Because we've run that. We've run the playbook. But that's not to say like NFTs are going anywhere. Or NFTs aren't going to be a really interesting portion of everybody's life, like they are. We're this bottom that we're a part of right now for NFTs and crypto field. The timeline vibes are like the worst I've ever seen in crypto, which at the same time, concurrently at the same time, it's the most bullish time in the history of crypto. And yet the two don't match, right? Our bags are down. Everybody's been like wrecked this cycle. And yet at the same time, the tokenization of everything is happening. Like it's literally happening. But we feel like, well, is it going to be on public blockchains, or is it going to be Fedi chains, or what's it going to be? And we feel like the vibes are that, oh, maybe we were wrong. Maybe it's not going to be on public blockchains. Maybe it's going to be on, BlackRock chains. And, blockchain tech good, public blockchain tech not good. I think that's retarded. I think that's stupid. I think that's wrong. But the vibes are like, maybe we made a mistake, And, so for me, somebody who's a true believer in what crypto is, which is like a freedom technology, I'm comfortable. I don't have a ton of money and stuff. I'm down as bad as everybody else. But the reality is that the core reason I'm here is still very much alive, and more alive than ever. And so in that way, I'm continually bullish. But our Bitcoin bags are in shambles.
No, they are. And I just want to say, for the people that are taking stabs at Leonidas, I think you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and like ask yourself, what has he done for the space? The guy's still like constantly active. He's done a lot for ordinals in the Bitcoin ecosystem, in my opinion, at least. And so that's just kind of where we are in the space, right? Yeah. But I also think that, your opinion, or not your opinion necessarily, but like what could formulate into what our industry is a mixture of both, public and private, right? Because if you look at collectibles industries, like there's huge like private companies that are like making tons of money manufacturing those cards or toys or whatever they are. And we saw a resurgence this year actually in that industry to where prices were crazy again, like similar to 2021. So I actually think that we do see
Pokemon top for a while there. Has it topped? Has it gone down at all, or is it still running? I don't even
going. I mean, it's still popular. It's still popular, but like Pokemon will always be like a popular like collectible community and sector and stuff, and it all ties together with just the collectibles in general. They go to the same conferences as sports cards and stuff and all these things, right? But my point is that like I do think we see NFTs at crazy prices again in the future. Is it going to happen this next year? I'm not sure, but I do think that we start to see that again, because a lot of people actually thought, hey, NFTs, we'll never see that again. Ordinals proved that a little bit wrong in 2023 when we saw some of that get like pretty high, right? So I think we see it again. It's just we are the most suppressed asset group right now.
Totally.
That's for sure. And eventually, like what happens when you keep suppressing an asset group? Eventually it explodes, right? So that's just my theory.
Well, I mean, if you saw, I think it was today, Beeple put out this tweet where he retweeted, basically it was like a TikTok of a woman who's like a art critic type woman who's basically like, fuck you and your NFTs, right? basically like, who is this Beeple character to go directly to the consumer and not include, an art house or a gallery as like a middleman? And it was a perfect, I mean, it was like a softball for people, right? And of course, then all the NFT people. And so like, there's this core of us which knows that this is we know, I know with certainty that this is a future of collectibles, whether it's not maybe the entire collectible market, but this is like huge. And for art, it's huge. It's settled for me. But the rest of the world is not settled for. Like they still think though, NFTs are just going to go away, or, oh, people, NFTs are stupid. Oh, that was dumb. It's not the way this works. not the way with the just sheer volume of artists who are digital artists, and the way digital we're in fucking the metaverse right now, and people don't even recognize it. You know, this is it's already happened. It's not even like a dream of something that will happen. This has happened. It's just a question of, you know, how we're going to own the assets, right? And, you know, I mean, I'm completely convinced of the way it's going to happen, but, you know, I know when shit gets rough and stuff goes bad that people get shaken out. It's just the way it is, man. And the majority of people will get shaken out. But, you know, for me, I just bury those wallets, man. Those wallets, I don't even know where the fuck those wallets are, man. And I probably won't even have access to them. It's like my kid in 20 years will get those wallets. You know, good for him, man. Live the high life. But, you know, for me, they're just buried in the backyard, bro.
I think about that same thing. I just hope they can read my writing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's jump into. So you guys, man, you guys are building everywhere. Really, you're building for NFTs with Emblem Vault. You guys are building for AI with AI Agent Hustle. You guys are building for meme coins and meme coin launch pads and pool changes, right? With Migrate.fun. You guys have a lot going on right now. Are you guys feeling the pressure right now, or does it feel like you guys feel real at ease right now when it comes to marketing conditions?
We definitely don't feel at ease. I mean, we're still very much still a small kind of scrappy team. There's not millions of dollars of runway and stuff, right? So we're still hustling harder than ever, honestly. Let's be clear. I mean, it's Jake and I, you know, at least just managing the kind of deal flow, you know, for people who want and teams that want to take part in Migrate Fun, want to migrate their projects. Bro, it's been 24/7 for 3 months. Like, it's been nonstop calls, meetings, endless. I mean, literally endless DMs back and forth to, you know, walk teams through the process. It's complicated, right? And for a lot of teams who want to, you know, they had an AI project or they have a real project and they want to take it forward through a migration, you know, this is a big deal for them. And so people want to be handheld, and so it's a lot of hand holding. I will say for me personally, though, I mentioned it to, I think it was Chris the other day. I was like, for the first time in Emblem's, the time I've been with Emblem, which is like 3 years, the company's bigger than my brain can fully comprehend. We're kind of at that point. We have so much going on so many different like vectors, that it's like, holy cow. You know, it was real easy when we're an NFT bridge, right? And it was kind of, I get it with Hustle, but now we're migrating. And I could, you know, we can get into some teasers of what's coming up with migrating, which is insane. But all these pieces, it's like, what are we, man? And it's like, oh my God, we're this like entire stack of interoperability between blockchains, and how that, you know, plays out over the next, you know, 6 months to 2 years. I couldn't be more excited about it. I mean, it's just incredible when you think that, I don't know, Privy was acquired for, I don't know, $700 million or something. And they basically had one sliver of a stack that we have. Like, they had the wallet interface, but we have Privy, we have Wormhole, we have, like, I mean, it's just like, holy cow. You know, part of this is like, and Jake's got a tough job of this, and we're hitting him with what we want to do, but guiding the ship to where we want to go is a little bit challenging because we have so many of these kind of opportunities and stuff, right? But for right now, just leaning into Migrate Fun, right? Obviously, we had you know, the pump, first group to pump, which is huge and is going on right now, which is amazing. You know, it's like, I mean, if you remember when we first did the migration, you guys remember back in like July, we had that like blow up on the timeline where people were like, you're stealing projects, right? Because there's people on pump who were pissed that people were moving away from pump, and now everybody's moving back to pump, and, you know, you don't hear a peep, right? So it's crazy times, but it's yeah, it's just amazing to be like the leader of a narrative, you know, is really it's really nice place to be, for sure.
And that's the thing. Just because you move out of New York doesn't mean you can't move back to New York the same way you moved out, right?
Oh, that's right. I mean, I'll give you a little bit of what my vision is with this, and we're seeing it now on the small scale. It's not small, but on the scale of Solana and launch pads on Solana, right? When Migrate Fun happened, people first were like, oh, I mean, when we built it, we thought, oh, everybody's going to want to go to Radium because everybody's going to want to be able to own the full pool and make the most money, right? fuck, totally wrong. Like totally wrong. People want to go where the attention is. So we saw this big movement to bonk. Now we're seeing this huge movement to pump. But the reality is this makes them all compete against each other for the best rewards, the best system. Like, bro, if somebody came up with a brand new launchpad tomorrow and it was like a money printing machine for traders, guess what? Everybody would want to go over there. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a never-ending battle. And the way I look at it now is that projects now, right now we're seeing it, okay, this movement amongst launchpads and stuff, but why is there not movement amongst chains? Why is Base not competing against Solana, not competing against BNB, not competing against Bitcoin, right? Why is that not happening yet? And the reality is I think it's, in a lot of ways, it's not happening because we haven't built it yet. And this is we're in negotiations with a huge project. I'm not even going to mention the chains and stuff, but with a huge project, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars to move chain. Yeah.
In this market, wow, multiple millions.
Well, yeah. And like what I think this is gonna, if it go, I mean, there's a lot of factors. These are very complicated things. But if something like that happens, if they're the first through the door to do something like this, I think it just puts it, just a arrow in the center of the chart that, oh my God, look, I can go who's going to compete for me now? And I expect like Solana to come out and be like, come to Solana. Why would you want to live on Base? Right? We got all the users over here on Solana, right? Or maybe CZ's like, nope, ramp it up. Let's go. Everybody come to BNB, right? Who knows how that could go, right?
I feel like I create this like vision for you guys like all the time. It's like I talked about it all the time with Shizzy about like the one-stop shop for hustle. You know what I mean? Like just the one, you don't need any other wallets. You just go there. You can act as a terminal. You can just do regular spot, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Perps are going to be there. And so I always envisioned, I'm on the team, by the way. I'm just kidding. No, I always envisioned that that the migrations would be cross-chain. I mean, it just makes sense. It makes sense eventually, right, to get there. But one thing I will say about them wanting to go to another launchpad that has the attention, I think not only have you guys created such a good niche for this pain point and product that solves a pain point that's always going to be needed, but also it's a marketing opportunity, big time for some of these projects and teams that have been stagnant a bit. And guess what? Now you're going to be listed as one of the migration teams and projects. If you have a rebrand, it's huge help. We're even trying to get a couple of these guys on the show as well, just to kind of, because we want to talk. We want to hear what they're doing, what they're building. So you guys, it's not just a migration opportunity of just, restart, but there's marketing involved with this as well.
Totally. 100%. And I saw somebody said, well, how do you move across chains? Wow. Right. It's funny because, I mean, you guys saw, maybe it was a week ago, Jesse from Base, they opened a bridge to Base from Solana, right? And back and forth, multi-way bridge. And they're like, come, you can trade your coins now on Base. But that's not really the way it works. Like, you can't I couldn't take my fart coin and just go trade it on Base. It doesn't work that way. You have to set up liquidity pools and stuff like that. And to be real, even like big teams like Farcoin don't have the hundreds or thousands or millions of dollars needed to set up liquidity pools on multiple chains. They just don't have it, right?
Slippage will be too high. Yeah.
Yes, it's the cost and it's just, that bridge is great, but it doesn't actually really do anything. I had to talk with one of the, back and forth on the timeline with one of the, guys from Airdrome or whatever. And I was like, well, what about LPs and stuff? He's like, yeah, you just got to set them up yourself. And it's like, well, that makes it a zero for basically everything except like Sol and ETH. It's like nobody else is going to do anything with that, right? So to answer that question, the way it would be for, let's just say somebody wanted to move from Solana to Base, because it's a simple, right? Basically what Migrate Fund does is it sells the tokens on Solana to extract all of that Sol. They then transfer the Sol to, ETH on Base, and then set up a new LP on Base, right? And so you'd issue new tokens on Base, right? That would be the way we would move off chain. And that's a super high level, like smooth brain way of describing it. but this is all done through like, smart contracts and all that sort of stuff. So it's very complicated, and there's only a few teams kind of in the world that can do it, but we can definitely do it. And it feels like in a lot of ways we've been building for this moment to just like this is going to happen, right? We've done kind of fungible bridges before, but fungible migrations, I think, are actually is the way that teams are going to want to do, and creates this competitive environment amongst chains for projects. So, I mean, just think of something simple. I mean, they don't even think they use a native token, but Polymarket, they want off that chain, right? Because the chain's doing nothing for them. And Solana is encouraging them. They're going to give them $25 million and come on over. And all of a sudden, Polymarket's on Solana, right? This is possible. And kind of any project like that with a native token on that chain, how are they going to move it? I mean, typically, yes, because these are usually big teams and stuff, they could also do airdrops and all that sort of stuff. But if you wanted to do it and actually do it with the tokens themselves on chain, look, there's us, bro. That's it. And so yeah, exciting, really exciting opportunity here for us. Just got to pull it off. So that's what we're like, can you relax? It's like, no fucking way, bro. Like even with pumps and stuff, every one of these new migrations for me, like the adrenaline comes up. Of course we test these ones, dozens of times, but still, it's still very kind of nerve-wracking and stuff. It's crypto.
Yeah.
You just don't want to make mistakes. Yeah.
And I feel like you guys have this window right now where it's like if you get as much done as you possibly can, because like we're gonna see the base token launch, right? And what that's gonna do, that's gonna open up a lot of liquidity for base. They're gonna have more money than they ever had before. So if they wanted something like Farcoin, they can go to the leaders of Farcoin and say, "Hey guys, we'll give you $4 million to migrate Farcoin to here. You guys use a third party like migrate.fun, and we'll pay for everything. We'll make sure we add liquidity to the other side to make up for any difference." And now Farcoin is trading on base chain, the biggest meme coin of this cycle is now trading on base for potentially a few $1 million, right? So, and now base is going to make off.
Who was it? Frank, right? Frank was able to get, I don't know, a couple chains to like pay him to move. He jumped and jumped again.
Wow,
smart.
I didn't realize that.
He went to Polygon and then he went to
Well, I know he shifted, but I didn't know that he was getting
he's
compensated for that.
Oh yeah, literally millions, man, millions.
Yeah.
So imagine,
probably not. Yeah.
And that was for D gods, right? So imagine if Farcoin wanted to move. So
let me ask you about that though, because that's Farcoin's a huge like market cap, right? It's not close to what it was before, but still, I have a feeling it's going to get back to that. We're still sitting at 300 million plus. And it's like a community style coin, right? So would there have to be like a team, an official team behind it that filed paperwork and stuff at that size? Or would it just be, okay, whoever's the community lead can try to gather up the troops and do this?
It's an interesting question, and it's something we don't have a definitive answer on that yet. And it's one of the reasons we've not just made migrate.fun open to the public, where anybody can just go and do it, because it's very possible we do get, if we did open it, that you would get these kind of like basically CTOing a token, and Farcoin's a perfect example of it. If you and I've run the numbers on it because it's such a big market cap, like if it's some super low numbers, like if 5% of the tokens decided to like migrate, they could extract like 80% of the LP, right? It's like super low numbers because just the way LP math works. So you could get these real crazy like zombie attacks or whatever, just vampire attacks on coins and stuff. And so I'm not exactly sure. I'd love to have your guys' opinion on that. Like opening it to the public, how would that, just on Solana, not even cross chain, but just on Solana, if somebody wanted to vampire attack, Farcoin, and, whales who own 5% could literally just suck up all the SOL and just click a new token, right? I mean, so I don't know, as the company that would kind of facilitate that, it's kind of something we don't have a definitive answer on. We're not really sure.
Could you guys do something in the sense of you would need at least 50% was migration does go through, or we refund?
Yeah, we could do that. We could do something like that. Yeah, so that's a good idea. Maybe that is if it's done on like the public.
It's the fairest way, I think. Actually,
you have to get above 45% or 40%
Yeah.
or something like that, or even 50. You have to get 51%.
Yeah, 51%. I think is perfect.
Yeah.
And that way, you at least get the majority of the community.
You get 51, it goes through. If not, then everyone gets a refund. Would that cost you guys? Because refunds could, if multiple refunds could hurt you guys in the sense of you guys got to keep.
Well, it wouldn't hurt us. It would be interesting for them though. So, for example, let's just say that this some random coin, right? And they get 40% migrated. It doesn't happen. The way our system works, if you fail the migration, I think like with right now our fail rate or our fail percentage is if the team can't migrate like 10%, it's super low. But say it's 51%, anything less is failed. When that migration fails, what we still do is we still sell migrated tokens into the LP, but rather than getting the any new tokens, the people who migrated would simply get the soul. So you would still get a giant red candle in that case. But the reality is that they could either go and buy the token back, or I mean the old token holders who didn't migrate could then get it for a bunch of less, way cheaper, right? So I don't know, it creates an interesting dynamic.
Well, you still have the MFT, right? So you can take the MFT and potentially you could just get your coins back instead of having to go through the soul.
No, because they get sold down.
No bridge, you get
gotcha. Okay.
Backs.
No takesy backsies. Okay.
No backsies, bro. There's no backsies. Yeah. So it would only be on a failed migration. It's interesting. Maybe we'd run something like that to see how it goes. I do like that 51% idea.
Yeah.
That shows that, hey, you have to you have to generate enough community support. Yeah.
And it's happening, right? I mean, you've seen 72, 68, 57, 49. And this is only 2 days in. So it's definitely something that the community wants to be a part of. They can be a part of. If not, I mean, it just doesn't go through. And that could be something requirement. Hey, you guys need 51%, or this is up to you guys to promote this and promote us. And if you guys want this to get out there, which benefits you guys, because you guys, more people are going to hear the name.
And maybe you guys could do like thresholds too, to where like if the market cap of the token is more than like 60 million, then
it drops down.
It's more centralized approach from us. And then if it's like a 50 million or below, then that's more of a decentralized approach that you have the option if you want, or you can be handheld or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I just know there are a lot of the number of outlier, just weird cases of whatever. They have 30% of the supplies locked in stream flow because they just wanted to be good guys, and they locked it in stream flow. And it's just, there's just like endless stuff like that. But there are definitely we've been approached by multiple teams who basically want to cut out a bad actor. Somebody who stole tokens, or the original dev who, still owns 40% of the supply, yet hasn't been seen for a year. There's all these like kind of weird edge cases, and we haven't done any of those yet. But we do get approached, and I don't know the perfect way is it's really almost one off on each one.
I think you guys found a good sweet spot right now, though. You know what I mean? To where they're coming to you, teams are coming to you. Hey, we need your help. You guys have the best service in this industry, right? You're the leading in this. And so you guys, continue rocking and rolling, and I think you guys would be fine with that. And then obviously you guys are getting bigger and bigger requests, and I'm excited to hear. I know it's been like secretive, but like I know there's a big player in there, and I'm excited to hear that news once it comes. But I'm curious about you, because we've, like Shizzy said, we've obviously had Jake on, we've had you on multiple times, and Chris, and I feel like Chris seems to be like kind of I guess like navigating towards the emblem side a little bit. I feel like you have like experience across all. Is there one part that you're going to be more specialized in or you're just going to be like the utility kind of across the board continuously?
I don't know. I think part of my role is trying to, create a vision of where we want to go. and be able to express that vision to the team, and so that we can kind of craft our way forward. Because none of us really know where we're going to be in a year. Like, it's one of those things where we have a couple of really, really working, points of the team, but this could change. It could change rapidly. Right. I think we're just, it's really difficult. I mean, myself, it's just trying to take in all this like information that I'm receiving from, the outside world, the timeline, and think about where crypto's going, and then integrate it into the tool set that we have. And the tool set, as I said, the tool set that we have now is so huge. It's overwhelming to me. Like, I, had a talk with Chris the other, maybe last week or whatever, just trying to get a handle on how he understands what we have. Right. And I'll have other discussions with like Shannon just to try and get his viewpoint on what we have. Because it's bigger kind of than all of us at this point in time, and understanding it as much as possible to try and drive direction, which would create the most value for everybody on the team. I think that's my job to a large extent. And so I'm leaning into it. Hopefully to get a little bit of time off, maybe over the Christmas holidays, to like have a time to like think for 2 seconds. Because there's a big difference between like crafting a strategy of where you want to go and answering 150 DMs a day. Like, there's a big difference, right? And right now I'm in like customer service mode, which is not ideal for like crafting strategy. So hopefully get a little time over the holidays to like be able to think about this on a larger scale. Cause like the reality is we're probably going to come out with a Hustle product that's basically a web extension wallet where Hustle lives as a web extension. I don't know if Jake talked to you guys about this at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, you just think about this, basically an AI powered wallet. I mean, is that our best play? I don't know. I see Farcaster basically give up on being a social platform and move into a wallet platform. Right. And I'm like, geez, man, they raised $180 million. Right. And not that I want to raise $180 million, but I would like to create the most value for our team. Right. And so creating the most value, we have to provide the most value, or at least the most perceived value, as to where this crypto market is going. And when I see where we're going, I see where we're going to digitizing and the tokenization of basically all of Wall Street, right? And prediction markets, I think, the play is not that I'm going to bet the fucking Super Bowl. The play is that I'm going to be able to bet every stock, every bond, every ETF, everything through one interface. And that's what they're looking at it as. There's like, how do I trade every digital asset? And so stocks are going to be first, all of Wall Street's second, and then real world assets are third. And so that interface where me as an investor interfaces, who's going to be the winner? Is it going to be a wallet like Phantom? Maybe. They just I heard today they're integrating Kalshi in there. Is it going to be MetaMask? Fuck no, because MetaMask sucks, right? But we have a potential to be that interface. And the reality is, I think we have as good crazy as it sounds, I think we have an incredible opportunity to be that interface, because there are only a handful of teams building this AI wallet infrastructure. There's like 5 teams on Earth that I would consider, like probably 3 teams on Earth that are legit competitors to us. And so, as either an acquisition vehicle or as just we build it and get huge, both seem to me right now, and maybe I'll change my mind over the new year. That seems to be like where, if I'm thinking that they're privy with none of that, simply the wallet layer got acquired for however many hundreds of millions of dollars. We have that exact same wallet layer and an AI layer and a cross-chain layer. What's the value there? I'm bro, my head starts smoking, right? But part of that is we have to focus on the right things to make it happen, right? And so it's challenging, man. And Jake's got a big challenge, as the leader of the team. But me helping craft that narrative and that story in that direction that's my big job.
So I'm wondering. You said you customer service is kind of your biggest thing right now. Is there? Do you ever see a day where you maybe just take all your DMs, all Jake's DMs, throw them in Agent Hustle?
It's done, bro. It's literally
done.
I put in it's like a 30-page doc, Q&A, just on Migrate.fun, right? And Shannon's working with it right now.
Let's go.
Basically create the hustle version.
That's what you
Adam.
guys do. Yeah. You just have a problem and you solve that. I love it. I love it. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's I started compiling the doc, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, a month ago, and talked to Shannon. Shannon's like, give me the doc and I'll start working on it with Hustle, and we'll start grinding in where either it's on the website or just in the DMs and Telegram, where people can just ask questions to Hustle, and of course we'll still be there.
You'll monitor it, yeah.
Just because 90% of these questions are the same question over again. And nobody reads FAQs. Like, that bullshit doesn't work.
True.
Especially when it's literally like 300 questions, So
yeah.
Yeah, we're on it, bro. We're on it, man.
I'm looking at the notes that I took for this segment, and I'm not going to go into like super deep detail, right? But Q1, huge potential or huge rollouts for Migrate.fun, and those partnerships are like really big, the potential for them. Then you have like Hustle next release, you're integrating huge like tooling into it, right? And like conditionals on every chain, all these cross-chain swaps, all that stuff is coming. Then you got the Emblem SDK, which I think is going to be humongous. Like, I think that's
what do you lean into, bro?
That's the major difference, I think, is like, and you guys are doing all this without the funding, right? Without the VC funding, right? You found a way to be able to, first of all, kind of survive as you were building these. Secondly, develop revenue streams with each product. But not just that, like, you're not sitting on your thumbs. You guys are rolling out. That's one of the things I think like VCs have a lot of trouble with. The companies or teams that they invest in is the rollouts are so slow and all these things. Like, people aren't really screaming at you guys, but they don't need to, because like you guys are constantly rolling out updates, right? So why do you think you guys just kind of missed that like VC phase in 2024 to where you guys were trying to get like everything in order? Because I feel like if you guys moved everything you have right now to 2024, you guys would have like all types of checks thrown at you guys. So what do you think that was? Was it the timing? Was the timing off? Is that what the main thing was?
I think the main thing is we had a real product. That's the problem. If you want to raise money with VCs, better just have idea. In my experience, real product, real revenue, like that scene from Silicon Valley, which is like, we don't want revenue, we want to be pre-revenue. That's the most true scene in that entire show. People don't want to see that we made, I don't know, 50,000 ETH in NFT volume in 2021, because now it's lower and it's like, oh, well, now you have nothing. Well, dude, we're the number one NFT bridge. Yeah, but I can't. What's the value of that? I don't know. And so in a lot of ways, it's way easier. I joke with the guys, but it's like, it'd be way easier if we had nothing right now, literally zero. And we just put a team together, and we're gonna be the I don't know, stable coin bridge between all chains. Let's go raise $60 million to build it. Like, we could probably do that. Like, if I came with like Shannon and this OG dev and all this and go raise millions of dollars to build out something, we could probably go do that. But whether we ever build it or not, like, probably not. The VCs are probably going to lose money on that, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is that if I could sell it that way and sell that there's going to be a TGE somewhere in there, we could definitely raise. I mean, look at all the chains that raised off of ordinals and being the L2. How many of those you can put a fucking anything out there, dude? Most of them are just dust in the wind, man. And yet they raised infinitely more money than we've raised. No money, right? We have no money, right? On nothing, and it does get discouraging, right? That I will not lie. That is
the reward. The reward can be substantially larger though with acquisition. So you get to a place like Privy, right? Which you guys seem to be taking that step. And if that's the decision that you guys make as a team to sell eventually, then you're not looking at 10 million, 50 million. You're possibly looking at hundreds of millions, if not more, right? So, I mean, that has to be to be the focus at this point, right?
That is our focus. Our focus is building out, well, trying to generate revenue. We need to generate revenue. We don't have VC runway, so we have to generate revenue and but build towards something that will be highly attractive. And yeah, so that's the kind of that's our job over the next couple months to define that vision to a degree and bring kind of the pieces together, because they are disjointed pieces, no doubt. Especially with like the Emblem legacy stuff with the NFTs and NFT bridge and stuff. How does that integrate into the AI, right? What is this? I mean, my vision now is somewhat to this, like, an AI wallet infrastructure for all digital assets, right? How these assets move within that AI and that infrastructure, like that's the under the hood, the Emblem, secret sauce. And so I think we have a compelling vision there just with that, but it does need to be refined and things do need to be integrated. We're working on the NFT integration into Hustle now. I think this is like a big step for us. Just from an ease and usability perspective. I mean, it's way better. You guys didn't use Emblem in 20 and 21. It was so freaking clunky. It was almost unusable. And yet we still did, 50,000 ETH in volume, right? That's with a clunky, terrible product, right? Now it's infinitely better, and it's only going to get better when it's in Hustle. I think the value accrual will be amazing to that. But it is this just, I mean, the vision of an AI chat interface to manage your digital assets, like, I think it's amazing. And I just think we have a real good chance of we're sitting here in a year and we're the leader, right? Banker's the leader today, no doubt. But I think we have advantages over Banker, and Banker being tied to Coinbase is like great for them, good for them. They're not going anywhere. But us being multi-chain, like truly multi-chain from the jump, I think is a huge advantage for us.
Dude, and I think that was so genius to do, to add, take Emblem Vault and just put it in Hustle, because when I went there, we did a full tutorial on it, and I was like, I don't want to lose this asset, right? I was a little scared about making. I was worried about Shizzy making a mistake, not what you guys were doing. But like with Agent Hustle, I'm going to be able to, hey, I just deposited, or I just sent to my Hustle wallet a Rare Pepe. Can you take that over to ETH and just let me know when it's done? And then I could just be like, it's Shizzy proof at that point, right? I can't make a mistake.
It's so fun because we've been talking about this for really literally from the time I joined Emblem, which was basically what we were calling at the time a jump feature, right? Which was you log into Emblem Vault, you take your Bitcoin asset and you want to jump it to ETH, you kind of click the jump button and it happens, right? But even that, it requires, going to your wallet, sending the asset into the wallet, right? All these kind of like clunky steps. But now, for really the first time, where I'm just like, oh my God, how it happens can be completely hidden. And I couldn't be more excited. It's literally the thing that was never going to work in crypto for me. And I know for most people was never going to work, where it's like, you have to know about bridges and all this stuff, bro, taking that all away, where it's an invisible nothing. And just, I want to buy some fart coin. And they're like, do you want to pay with Apple Pay? Yes. Boom. Done. And I don't even know how it happened, yet I have fart coin in my wallet. Like, this is the way it's going to be for the normies. And yeah, the most of the stuff that's built now does not have that ability to do it across multiple chains and take your assets across multiple chains. You just don't have the ability. And we kind of have the ability, meaning that a lot has to be built, like a lot. But yeah, it's fucking amazing, dude. you're getting me pumped.
100%. Well, so there's a day on the campus website. It was a great talk, but like I want to get back to migrate before we let you go here. So on this day, 12:15, right? I'm going to be paying attention to this, and I think everyone, including Bonk.fun, including Bonk, they're all going to be looking at what is happening on 15th, because this is something that's never been done before, right? Your migration last time was a lot easier than it was this time, because you were able to just take it to another pool and just bypass the the bonding curve feature. You can't do that this time with Pump. And this is everyone's gonna be watching right after 12:15 and 7 p.m.
Is it gonna get Yeah, bro. This was very, of course, my smooth brain barely understands the technical nature. How do you sell out buy the bonding curve? And then, so for example, let's just say the market cap of a coin that's migrating and going to end on the 15th is $1 million, right? So the bonding curve is whatever, 85 SOL, but then you got to get back and get all those tokens up to $1 million. How do you do that without snipers coming in and buying your stuff? And then when you need to buy more tokens, they dump on your head, right? How does that work? I'm not going to tell you the details, bro, because it was we don't want the snipers to know the details, bro.
Don't tell anybody.
But it was a technical challenge. It took over a month of our devs working on it, where we feel like we're pretty secure that look, it's crypto, right? And I don't know, somebody could figure it out. It's possible. Like anything is possible. But as of now, we've run multiple tests on it already. We were able to buy out the bonding curve and then buy out up to a market cap, which we set. So in that case, it goes up to $1 million. Basically, we buy all the way through to $1 million without snipers being able to come in. We think it's a pretty big technical achievement. And it's only available at migrate.fun. Nice. But we'll see, bro. At the end of the day,
a product is going to spawn from this. ICM.
Yeah, I know there are going to be people gunning for it, right? Of course, dude. And our reputation and the stability of migrate.fun is on the line, man. I mean, this is where I get super nervous and I want to do more testing and more of this and that. We have some things up our sleeve as well to kind of discourage bots. I won't go into what that is because it's kind of behind the scenes. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. There will be some activity around these migrations. And so it's going to be interesting to watch. Knock on wood, everything goes great. We get it right to the market cap. Team's happy, we're happy, and it can begin trading with that nice, green candle right at the start on Bonk.fun. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's not, look, trust me, I pushed Alon hard to let us just buy out the bonding curve and buy up to a market cap and go directly to pump swap. He wouldn't do it, man. He wanted us to go through the bonding curve, because it would have required some technical changes
on their side
that would, and hopefully this goes well. And they're like, yes, okay, we'll let you do it. And they do the technical work to make this possible in the future, because it would be easier and would take away the risk. There's still obviously some risk, but yeah, we think we've got this figured. But we'll until you do it live, right? I'm sure those bots are gonna come in heavy, bro. It's gonna be real fun to watch, man.
100%. I'm gonna be cheering for you guys. 100%. I'm gonna sit there, but I got a feeling everyone after it goes good and everything's good, every one of you guys just being like, yes, because the product is built at that point.
It works, man. It works, and it's obviously Pump's the 1,000-pound gorilla. Going to Pump is a big deal. Obviously, Pump. I mean, I think to a large degree, their creator rewards and stuff. I think they rolled them out quick. They saw migrate.fun happen and they were like, shit, let's up the game. Like they realize, and I've seen behind the curtain of all these different teams. It is a battle. These teams are battling. It is the free market. They are doing everything in their power to get teams on their team, on their side, moving to their platforms. Which is good. Like, dude, this is capitalism.
Good for you guys.
It's good for the users. It's kind of good for us. We don't make a shit ton of money, but we make some money It's good for the platforms. It brings awareness to everybody. And yeah, I'm all for that kind of like, you know, pressure to make people better.
Yeah.
And again, somebody could come in and offer, you know, super fees and zero, you know, money back to trader. Who knows?
So that's the thing I was going to ask you. So the creator rewards, cool and all that stuff, but like it seems like the traders are the ones that need the most
why not
money.
trade the rewards?
They're the ones that are getting beat up the most. Do you think that would ever be? Do you think they're just reacting to the current market conditions too? Because like liquidity is not abundant, so it's not a trader's market necessarily to create.
I've talked to a bunch of people about trader rewards. So at least in the early portion of a coin's history, you reward the traders rather than the creator. And I think it's being discussed, and I have no doubt that a team's going to come out with a launch pad that does that.
Why are they against it though? What's holding them back?
I think teams right now, meaning like Pump and Bonk, I think the current meta is creator rewards.
And
so they're
getting coins out there basically.
Yeah,
that's
basically launching as many coins as possible, because obviously they're just earning fees on volume of coins, right? So the reality is they don't care if the coin goes up, right? They just want trading of the coin, right? So in that, I mean, for me, but again, figuring out what is the right model is so difficult, bro. I could talk about me thinking it's a good idea for 1,000 years. When somebody actually builds it, it might fall flat on its fucking face. Like you have no idea if stuff is going to really work until you test it.
And it's easy to kind of, you know, point the finger and be all upset and stuff. But like, let's say that like Pump did switch it to trader rewards, their entire business could collapse like the model, because Bonk's going to just pick that up really quick and be more about like the volume. Because at the end of the day, like some of these coins that do sustain high market caps, like the people want new opportunities. So the trading volume is going to be, you know, not as intense as if you were to launch 1,000 coins, right? I'm not saying I'm for that, because it's not, obviously from a trader's perspective, you don't like it because you want to get into a coin that goes higher in market cap, especially if you earned it to get in early. Yep. But that's just not the liquidity environment right now.
Well, you can get the best of both worlds, right? If you just put an automatic buy and burn. So the creator maybe hits a button and it's an automatic buy and burn, right? All the creator rewards goes into buying and burning the token. And it's automatic. It's you know what I mean?
Option,
so that benefits the trader, and then that, you know what I mean? And then it benefits the creator because he holds the token.
How does the creator benefit at all in that
scenario? He has
to have some skin in the game. But that's one of the things that supposedly the Mayhem kind of token standard was going to be about, right? But if the liquidity environment's not right, then it's going to be hard to get a coin past, like right now, it's really hard to get a coin past 5 million in the first couple of days. Yeah. And then talk about 10 million. Like there has to be really strong, like cabalish type situations.
Yeah, basically it needs to be completely bundled, right? It's like, you know, somebody's got to own 95%.
So I've changed my perspective on bundles. I think you need bundles. I think you actually need like a certain percentage, 30, 40%. The team behind the bundle is what makes or breaks it. So
I think I found out wrong. I mean, right? these bigger coins that are hundreds of millions of dollars, like it's controlled supply.
100%.
There's just
controlled supply.
You can't get it. You can't get a 1,000 monkeys in a room without people dumping it to zero, right? It's like
you got the Bell's Coin crew. Bell's Coin News says, "I'm Adam's biggest fan." Well, welcome to the show, Bell's Coin News.
Bro, Bell's Coin's not even above 5 million right now.
Opportunity.
Hey, meme coins aren't going anywhere, man. There will be another meme coin cycle. I will bet my life on that, man. There's no question that's gonna happen.
We just talked to the team behind Opcat Labs. They're building a potential chain, right? It's going to be a you know, proof of work type thing. Yeah, we talked to them, and they didn't tell us the tech stack yet, but we assumed it's going to be, you know, a Bitcoin fork type thing, similar to Fractal, but without the merge mining, which destroyed Fractal. But obviously Opcat, they're going to have Opcat on that chain. Bell's Coin has Opcat, right? So
it's gonna have it Christmas Day. Yar's putting it out.
Whoa! Yeah. What a good morning, Bell's Coin. Let's go.
Yeah, Christmas Day, it's going out. He wanted to pick a big day. Yeah, it's funny, man. Bell's Coin community, Bell's Coin news right there, man. Dude, they're still working, man. I give them all the credit, dude. They're trying to get Kraken. Actually, Bell's Coin news actually sent a giant care package to Kraken headquarters. And it's
Smart.
like they're still working, bro. They're still grinding, man. I love it, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like those are the coins and communities that like you gotta always pay attention to, because when the liquidity gets right for the markets, those are the ones that shoot up crazy.
Yeah, the multi-cycle coins I never bet against. Never bet against. And
Go
it's so
give Bell's Coin news a follow, guys. Get him out there.
He's a hustler, man. Maybe a little bit insane, but he's a hustler. You know, I wouldn't give him your address, but to talk to. He's a hustler, man. He was talking with the Kraken in their Discord and stuff about he's sending a box, and I just know those Kraken guys are like, oh shit, what's going to be in
what's in this?
What's in the box?
Adam,
he's like, I'm sending them cookies. I'm like, bro, there ain't no way they're eating your fucking cookies, bro. Zero chance, bro.
What's the one thing out of those three that I was talking about that's upcoming? What's the one thing that you're most excited about, like the Migrate, Emblem, and Hustle?
I mean, long term, definitely Hustle. I mean, it's like I think obviously AI did have its kind of moment in the sun this cycle, but that was literally just hype. There was nothing actually built at that time other than the weakest chatbots on earth. Now it's like you're seeing this, dude. This is happening. People are building whatever bots to trade Polymarket, bots to trade football, bots. I mean, all of this sort of stuff is happening, and the AI is getting so good so fast, like just exponentially better, faster. Like, would I trust Hustle or any AI agent on earth to manage my portfolio today? Of course not, right? No, but I would trust it to trade. But in a year or 18 months, I think people will be trusting big portions of their portfolio to AI agent controlled wallets. Like, yes, I do believe that's going to happen. Just because it's getting exponentially better. So yeah, I just think long term, that's the most exciting thing for us and the team. But for right now, bro, you gotta make the money, man. And the money is Migrate Fun. The attention's Migrate Fun. Like, when you find a winner, bro, you just triple down on that winner, man. You go hard. I was telling my kid, because he's a YouTuber now, and he caught some like videos that were running, and I'm just like, how are you gonna remake that video in 50 different ways? And that's all he's been doing the last week, right? He grew his account from like, I don't know, 150K on YouTube to like 700K in like 10 days. Yeah. And just grinding.
10 days?
Yeah. He's got like, I don't know, almost 400 million views on that channel now.
Wow.
You need some tips, bro.
He's a YouTube guru now.
And but he's really good when he catches a winner. Man, I'm gonna remake that winner 50 different ways, man. You just triple down on the winners. So
is it the clipping pretty much?
No. He's making his own kind of Minecraft videos. Yeah, he's a Minecraft.
Oh, nice.
But when you see something that works, whatever, he gets kids to subscribe because this little thing itches the back of that little 10-year-old's head and they hit subscribe button. Bro, how can I feed that to like another 100,000 kids, another million kids, another million kids, another million kids? It's insane, dude. It's insane. And so for me with Migrate Fun, it's like we have a winner here. This is clearly a winner. There's clearly needs for this. How do we just, get as many teams across the finish line as possible? And then, these bigger teams or bigger projects that want to move cross chain or just move to different launch pads or whatever, reach out, make that happen. And, Jake will tell you there's to get from idea, hey, I want to take my project across chain, to getting it across chain, bro. There's a lot of work in there, right? No doubt. But bro, that's what we're built for, man. It's a lot. A lot. A lot of
I missed
interacting
that.
with exchanges and stuff. I mean, the exchanges, God help us. We do have to get past exchanges. Like, if there's one thing we in the crypto industry have to get by, is we have to get past these exchanges.
Well, it does look like they're going to meet you halfway.
What's that?
They're going to meet you halfway because it looks like they're all coming on chain,
Right.
especially with Coinbase this week, right? So
there will be acquisitions in the future, and yeah, I mean, it's one of the, when we're talking about like who could potentially want to acquire kind of the Hustle and Emblem tech stack, certainly exchanges are one of those, because most of them can't build stuff quick enough on the kind of cutting edge. And so, yeah, I think, you know, along with a couple of chains, I think, exchanges are one of our favorite acquisition potentials. Yeah, we'll see.
love it.
Keep building, bro.
I just noticed that's you.
Yeah, no,
I didn't notice that at first.
a little bit.
He said that he's his biggest fan.
He really is. He really is.
I don't know if I should be terrified or flattered, bro.
Well, Adam, man, this has been absolutely awesome, dude. We really appreciate you. We'll give you the stage one last time. If there's anything left, you say to the 740 people that are watching right now.
Yeah, man. Well, I'd say just go to agenthustle.ai. That's the best way to see what we're up to. Go use them free. You get, I don't know, 10 prompts a day for free. Just check out the multi-chain stuff that's happening. It's not fully done yet, but the cross-chain trading and exchanging and swapping, like, dude, this is the future, man. It is. I have no doubt. So begin using that future today and be prepared, man, because it's gonna get sick over the next year. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, man, and enjoy your weekend. We will see you later.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Take it easy.
All right. Amazing as always. Really appreciate Adam taking the time out. I mean, he's probably got a million DMs during this hour call, I'm sure. But this is our show, guys. I really appreciate every single one of you guys watching over everywhere. I mean, remember, we are on Twitch, X, Rumble, YouTube, Zora, Pump, Abstract, and everywhere else, and Zora. So I think it's Zora twice, but appreciate every single one of you guys, man. It is Friday. I'm gonna be playing some Arc Raiders. If any of you guys want to play
every day.
I need a friend to play with me because my brother can't keep up. He has a job, so he can't play with me as much. But if any of you guys are playing Arc Raiders, hit me up. I'm just at Shizzy or hit me on X, and we'll team up together. But it could be fun to play with some of you guys. But that's our show, man. Really appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, although Bitcoin isn't really jumping up crazy right now, the MAGA token I was talking about is over 1 million. It's at 1.2 million.
Whoa.
But yeah, so it does pay to pay attention and kind of learn the trenches a little bit. But like I said, super risky and probably don't want to get in as it's forming a huge candle right now. But if you did get in at like 500K when we were talking about it, you're winning there.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yep. But guys, we appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys are amazing. Look, you know, we do this because we love the space. We have a passion for the space, and we love to interact with you guys. So we appreciate you guys commenting on every platform and all that stuff. Without you guys, we couldn't do this, and we thank you so much. Also, without our partners, though, we couldn't do it. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate that. Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you are looking to jump or bridge your Bitcoin ordinals or NFTs like Rare Pepes and Nakamoto cards and ordinals like Taproot Wizards over to Ethereum, you got to use Emblem Vault. Why? Because they've been doing this since 2021. They have been building on Bitcoin since 2013. So they have all the experience in the world to be the best at this, and they are. And so right now you can actually take out a loan against your Taproot Wizard on the Gandhi application if you bridge it over using Emblem Vault, and they'll take care of you over there. They're going to open this up to other layers and ecosystems, and Solana is one of those as well. And I'm sure they're going to open to other EVMs and Hedera possibly. But speaking of Solana and Hedera and BSC, they have the best AI product over there in those ecosystems called agenthustle.ai. You can ask Hustle, find me some low cap gems. And he'll bring back a couple options depending on like what ecosystem you're in. He'll bring back those options and tell you why he thinks that these are solid. But you also can do conditional trading within Hustle, as there's an engine built within the the framework here. So, if you're on Hedera, you want to do conditional trades on, their top tokens over there, he can take care of that for you while you're doing whatever you need to take care of, right? And there's different tiers of subscription. There's a free tier that you can test out right now. But make sure you go test it out because I think they're going to upgrade the framework to an X402. So, it's still going to be cheap because it's going to be per prompt, but they have the subscriptions that are the paid ones, right? That's going to be the monthly one, and you get more tools and more prompts, of course, right? Like the free ones, I think you get like a couple prompts just to test it out, but you can pay with the hustle token, which is the single token that powers the entire Emblem ecosystem, and you'll get a 30% discount, I believe, if you pay with that. But again, you want to have an edge, and that's in the paid subscription area there. And then there's the last product that they have right now that's live is migrate.fun, and they are in their third cohort right now with the pump cohort. And so if you're interested in moving your community and token over to another launchpad on Solana, go to migrate.fun, check out how this one is going. And you can reach out to the team. They're very responsive, and ask them any questions that you have. They're really good at guiding teams through this process to make it as easy as possible. And if you're a participant, a part of a community, make sure you go to our channel, OnChain Revolution, on YouTube, and you can see the example of how to do it. Or the latest example video is on our X account. So go over there to check it out. And head over to emblem.vision as well, so you can see all the details about all the products I just broke down for you guys for this team. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of their AI with the Wizard version 2.0 that guides you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem, but also can swap for tokens outside the ecosystem in Solana and BSC. All you got to do is have some Merlin Chain Bitcoin in your wallet, and the Wizard will take care of the rest for you. But going back to the ecosystem, it can make swaps in Merlin Chain's ecosystem on your behalf using Merlin Swap, or it can stake for you as well. And speaking of staking, there is a proof of stake security model that Merlin Chain uses, and you can participate in 3 ways. The first way is to stake a Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. In their first staking vault that they had for this, they got 17% APR back for their stakers there, right? And it lasts 3 months. And so the current staking vault is going to end January 8th. So it is a 3-month straight staking vault. It's not 3 months from when you get in. So right now you have less than 1 month to participate in this one, but they will open another one after this one closes, and they will always shoot for, that APR that's in that range, right? The lowest 8%, highest 21%. So just know that, the APR is juicy for staking Bitcoin, and you get paid in Bitcoin, by the way. So it's a really awesome product there. And then there's 2 other ways to participate in the staking with the Merlin Chain token. The first one is the flexible day-to-day option, which you earn 15% APR, and you can claim your rewards every single day. If you want to withdraw your Merl token, it does take 7 days for their cooldown period, so just know that. And then the last option is the bonded option, which is a 6-month lockup period, and you earn 45% APR. Which is amazing. The Merlin Chain token has shown a lot of strength in this current market for the past 3 months. That has been really tough, right? So could be a good option for you. That's up to you. But the cool thing about the 6-month lockup is you can claim those rewards daily as well, but your tokens are locked up for 6 months. So just know that. And that's why you get the 45% APR. But we thank you guys so much for checking those 2 partners out. The last one we have is Satsman. Satsman.fun is a launch pad for Bitcoin Layer 1, leveraging the ICP tech stack. You can actually currently start bidding for future rune tickers as the ticker numbers are starting to go down, right? So some of these are going to be really popular. This team is brilliant. They have a great team that knows and has been building for scaling Bitcoin Layer 1 for a very long time. And once you launch a token on Satsman, it actually gets bonded and it goes to Rich Swap and has a liquidity pool there. But let's say that you don't get, you get outbidded for one of these tickers, you actually get your Bitcoin back. And same thing for the bond situation. If participants try to bond and it doesn't bond within a certain time frame, you get your Bitcoin back too. So the risk is very minimal with that. And the launch should be next week. So super excited about that.
Yeah, 100%. And look at this one, right? This guy put 50 sats per VByte. They got 96% refund, right? Because it only used 4. So that's a big deal. I think that's one of the best parts. Same thing here. He put in 3, he got 33% back. He put in 5, he got 6%. So you guys can put 100 if you're okay with paying that. You will pay it up front, and then in the back end, you'll get the refund as long as no one bids against you. But we're seeing some pretty cool tickers here too as well. Ant Miner, you're seeing Aping In, risk free, and then you look up here if you want it unknown or useless. I think or winning. There's some pretty good tickers that you could bid on. So that's pretty cool. But if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. A new article kind of really explaining all about Satsman, Omnity, and Rich Swap all in one article. These are about 3 to 4 minute reads. You have to read these guys. You can't miss them because it's so much information jam-packed in the one article. And we have articles on a bunch of other stuff as well, Monad, Fed, and an Omnity one as well. So definitely check out everything here. There. If you guys need a VPN, we have a VPN link for you guys. You guys can get the holiday deal right now, 77% off. Lock it in for 2 years, set it, forget it. You get an extra 3 months or 27 months for about $60, $70, and you guys lock it in, forget about it. And then you're able to use stuff like Mexi, Hyperliquid, and everything that geo-blocks you right now. Put yourself in Italy. That's the server that I like the most, and I use it every single day. It also allows me to use Italian TikTok and stuff like that. So definitely get a VPN. If you do launch like a meme coin or something, and that meme coin takes off, they can potentially find out where you live because they'll just check your IP address, and then they pretty much pinpoint where you actually were when you launched that. And it's not a good idea to do that without a VPN. So make sure you guys have a VPN for basically anything you do in crypto for sure. And if you guys are interested in locking up your crypto or buying somebody who is in crypto a ledger, we highly recommend the ledgers here. I have the Ledger Nano X. I paid about $130 for mine. Right now you can get it for $74. Come in here, get yourself a ledger, or get yourself a Christmas present. Get yourself a ledger. Do not buy it from eBay. Do not buy it from Amazon. Make sure you buy it from our link on our site, because this will take you to the #1 place to make sure it's safe, secure, and it gets to you. And it'll come in like the ledger box will be inside another box, so no one even knows that you've received the ledger. So that's the best part as well. So no one can take advantage of you for whatever reason. But get yourself a hardware wallet today. Make sure you guys use our link. Everything can be found at onchainrevolution.io. And remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until Monday.
Peace.
OnChain revolution, roll call, market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain revolution.